in the shadow.
Ash, do you have your homework assignment? Oh, come on. Are you telling me there were no kids on the island? Huh?
Alright, time to deport a child rapist with 87 prior arrests.
Get your church away from my immigration protest!
No! Where are my mercenaries at? No!
Mr. Graham, what do we have?
A forever war, if you can keep it.
We need national voter ID or we'll never win again. Why aren't you guys passing the SAVE Acts?
Trust me, we're hard at work on that back at GOP headquarters.
Cage. Joker, hey. Joker, hey. Lost in my thoughts again. Try not to fucking break. Try not to lose myself. In the cage, I've been fighting demons in my brain. Cold nights praying I don't go insane. They don't know how much fucked up pain I can take. Smiling in their face while my soul start to break. In the cage, I was bleeding but stayed solid. Dark thoughts had me drowning every fucking night. Turned trauma to power, suffering to armor. Lost in the cage, but I still survived it. Back against the wall, I was traumatized. Fighting tears every night, trying not to cry. I was fucked up mentally, nobody noticed. Demons in my head while I stay focused. I smile through the pain, I hide emotions. Inside I was drowning in dark ass oceans. Late nights with a pistol next to me, asking God if this the life he meant for me. If I crash out, who gon' remember me? Or they only around when I got money. Scar from betrayal still ain't healed yet. Mama crying echoes in my head when I rest. Every night felt like war inside my chest. Couldn't sleep, couldn't breathe, couldn't fucking rest. People claiming love, but they switched up. Now I keep my distance when the trust gone. Everybody close ain't really family. Now the cage became part of my reality. In the cage, I was losing myself slowly. Trying not to let the darkness fucking control me. Some nights I was breaking in silence. Some nights I was praying for guidance. In the cage, I've been fighting demons in my brain. Cold nights praying I don't go insane. They don't know how much fucked up pain I can take. Smiling in their face while my soul started to break. In the cage, I was bleeding but stayed silent. Dark thoughts had me drowning every fucking night. Turned trauma to power, suffering to armor. Lost in the cage, but I stayed down. I was searching for peace but never found it. Too many dark thoughts all around me. Trying to keep faith when I'm surrounded by fate, love, and snakes. Still doubting. Pain in my chest never faded. Too many nights feeling isolated. Joker ape sulfur contaminated. Still I kept going, never breaking. Lost friends, lost trust, lost pieces. Hard cold from all these reasons. Trying to fight all these fucking demons. Still breathing, somehow I mean it. Some nights I was drunk and broken. Sitting alone, barely coping. Try not to explode from emotions. Try not to drown in the hopeless. Pain to go, yeah, the scars made me colder. Had the whole damn world sitting on my shoulders. Tried to hide the hurt, but the weight got stronger. Every dark night made Joker ape harder. I was fighting myself in the mirror daily. Trying not to crash when the pressure raised me. Everybody love you when the lights on bright, but disappear when you broken late at night. I sat alone with my thoughts too long, trying to stay alive when the whole feel gone. Heart full of rage, but I still stay silent. Now the pain turned gold and the soul still fighting. In a cage, I've been fighting demons in my brain. Cold nights praying I don't go insane. They don't know how much fucked up pain I can take. Smiling in their face while my soul started to break. In a cage I was scarred, but kept fighting. Walking through storms and surviving. Pressure made the beast inside me. Now Joker 8 standing beside me. In a cage, I was losing my fucking mind, trying not to break down the whole damn time. Every night felt like war in my chest, demons in my sleep, couldn't fucking rest. In the cage, I was drowning in silence, smiling through pain while I hid all the violence. Pressure turned scars into raging ambition. Now the cage made a beast out my spirit, broken inside, but I still never folded. Heart full of trauma, I carried and held it. Now I stand through the fire, still fighting. Joker 8, motherfucker, I survived it.
Once you enter the cage, you never leave.
Everybody breaks eventually. Most people never come back from it. But us, we built a kingdom out of the madness. They tried to bury us in the pain, but pressure builds monsters out of survivors. Welcome to the AMC Ape Cage.
Cash, do you have your homework assignment?
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you like the music video. Took me forever to make. I don't know how that did, but still, that took forever to make. What do we got? We got laughing going on. Matt, got some laughing. What's so funny? Yep. Matt. I don't know what, you're having problems again? Live mic, Matt. Anywho. So, yeah, having plenty of issues so far, as you can tell so far. I don't know why, but I've done everything on my end. It's something where
I'm still here. What am I, chopped liver?
I don't know.
I'm here.
I've been trying to hear you and no
What
one's
am I, chopped
talking.
liver?
Yeah, evidently, because all of a sudden I'm talking, somebody's laughing in the background, and then all of a sudden no one's answering me. I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
I was in Twitter listening to it because I can't listen to the videos here.
Because
of the delay.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Well,
of the
I don't
delay
know what it
fee,
is. I can't ever
realize.
hear it.
Yeah, well, that's odd. You should definitely hear it inside of Twitter if you were going in there. But yeah, anywho, welcome. So evidently now you know my frustrations as of so far today with mic checks and everything else. So besides that, it's been very interesting so far, a couple of days wise, and that's just because of straight people being dumb. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I definitely do. Is that like everybody is just being dumb? Like not even like conscious thought, not even like just thinking about certain things, just coming out irrationally and just blah, 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 blah. Like, I mean, diarrhea of the mouth. Here's a perfect example.
I think my frustration with it is that we've been through all of this since Go Plan initiation, since we started going on balance sheet offense.
Mm-hmm.
So why does the narrative the same every freaking time?
It's a really good question. Like, I mean, a really good question. And I don't understand the why. Like, I don't know why. I mean, we've gone over this. I understand people want to hear opinions and everything else. I'd rather give fact. And you heard it fact-wise. Like, that's why I'm curious. And it doesn't make sense to me at all. But that's okay. Regardless.
It's all right. That's what beer's for.
Yeah, beer, ganja. I mean, all the good stuff that makes you feel inside. Yeah, doing all that. That feels great. Now, there's a question that got posed to me earlier today, and I promised I would go over it. We're going to go over it right now. And just so everybody understands exactly what's happening here. And hey, James, on your show tonight, I would love to hear your opinions on why Adam Aaron would dilute at this low of a price. Business seems to be doing well. Seems like cash on hand isn't an emergency. Why not wait till the price is higher so he can use it to pay off the debt? Is there something I'm missing? Thanks. It's real simple.
There's a lot you're missing.
I mean, but he may be missing it, but listen, and being fair, I mean, a lot of things retail doesn't understand. I'm just going to be blunt about it.
I'm glad they're asking, at least, because
rather know.
Yeah, like I would have thought people didn't understand that when we restructured the 27 debt and as they were coming to term and the 26 debt, and the restructure led to the collateralization of that debt through shares at the time, which was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
That basically took the control out of AMC's hands as to the any time during the life of that new indenture and debt restructure with the collateralization of shares, it is the debt holders' power and right to exercise them shares at any time.
Correct.
That's what a debt swap for equity is. Now they could wait till term, or AMC has the right just to buy the debt outright as opposed to doing the share issuances. But it's more important for AMC to keep operational cash on hand in order to improve and stay on offense with their balance sheet and implement Go Plan initiatives and grow their revenue growth for a higher margin net value in business structures that are beneficial to the company, which in turn will eventually be hugely beneficial to the shareholders.
Correct.
So when the narrative that, well, why is he selling them so low? He's not selling them that low. They're exercising them at a point in time, right, where the price is low because it maximizes the ratio volume of shares that they receive in order for the volume of shares necessary to cover the value of debt that's being swapped for them shares.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense though. But
so the thing that's interesting is that the actual 8K itself basically tells you that if they were in the indenture threshold of the 9.9% threshold, which would have been 7.9% ownership prior to the 12 million issuance, because 12 million would have been 2 more percent ownership, right? So 7.92% issue would have put them at the 9.9% threshold if they had 7.9. Now they do have 10Gs, or is that what it is? 10Ds or 10Gs?
Yeah.
That show
it's a 10G
ownership thresholds above 5%, but but they didn't have
the collective
filing that needs to be filed if you're above that 10%. So they were somewhere between 5 and 10%.
So here,
but because of the date of the issuance being
prior
at the time of earnings, the day before, I think, meaning that if they were selling current ownership to meet the threshold obligations of the issuance, it would have been before earnings. So they were selling it into the earnings run-up, not currently. This post-dip is them looks like reshorting. Somebody's reshorting.
Somebody may be reshorting, but at the same time, I'm just going to lay it out flat and simple for everybody. You're at this low of a price right now. Like, honestly, why haven't they gotten out? If they were shorting it as much as they're shorting it, and as much as we know that there's so many extra floats out there and everything else, why haven't they stopped shorting? Why haven't they sold their position, gotten out? I mean, I would be running for the hills.
We're halfway through second quarter. We're going to get second quarter numbers, like preliminary numbers, in a month and a half, in 2 report periods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean,
it's fucking insane to be shorting here now, going into what's going to be a blowout Q2.
Correct, but that's my point. My point is that if there's shorts and you're at this low of a number right now, you should be able to buy your shares back cheap enough for where you made a profit. Who's outside? Because that's driving me nuts.
You shouldn't even be able to hear me right now.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Literally.
Why can you hear me? I have myself muted.
Yeah, you might need to mute yourself again.
I don't know. Like, I'm okay. Let me mute myself because I've been in the car with myself muted this whole time. Let me try again.
Now you're muted.
There, it's gone.
Then it's gone.
I don't know what, you guys. I was definitely muted for that.
No, definitely weren't, but that's okay. It's no big deal. But
you just tell who's outside. It took me a second. I'm like, who is outside? I don't know what's going on.
Good thing you weren't doing anything naughty.
Yeah, good thing.
I mean, which is like never if I'm not yelling at someone that works for a hedge fund. That's probably as crazy as I look, you guys. I'm actually quite boring in my real life. This is the most nonsense I get up to.
That's nonsense. That's a lot of nonsense. But you would have gotten out if you're a short seller right now, and especially at this price. You would have gotten out by now because you would have made probably a hefty profit.
The nonsense makes no sense.
I mean, that's just being realistic. So why would Adam Aaron short or do a reverse split right now at this low of a number, which wouldn't benefit him or the company or anybody right now anyway? There'd be no benefit to a reverse split. None.
And there's zero benefit to the debt holders.
Correct. Zero. And those debt holders are the bondholders. Bondholders would be pissed. Because the one thing that they have to make sure that they get is their money back.
Yeah, this is not the price to be doing a reverse split at, y'all. Like, it really is not with the numbers we have coming in for all of the I mean, this is going to be a big year for us. I don't see them showing any interest in anything resembling a reverse split.
No, they would never do it.
Here's my
like, it would be stupid. There's no reason to.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my opinion. The narratives are being put out there because they need you to get out. And they want to fear you into believing that this ain't the bottom and that there's more pain coming, which
I can tell you right now, I tried so many times to execute orders below 99 cents, even when the ticker was dropping to 98 and 97. I think it touched 96. No platform would allow me to execute an order on AMC at anything less than 99 cents when that was happening.
Remember, it wasn't that long ago, the last time, exactly the period you're talking about. And the whole narrative was, oh, they got 30 days and it's a reverse split.
Mm-hmm.
How wrong was that? 2 days later, we're back above $1 and the whole...
It's dumb. There's no way. Everybody saw that price. And I know people bought an obscene amount of shares. That's like, I don't think they now they understand. I don't think they really truly understood how crazy we were willing to get, and the fact that we would continue to buy. The more they drop it, the more we buy. Like, there's no way out for that.
I was absolutely fine with buying them 50-cent strikes at $1.05, $1.10 break evens, and
Oh my God.
Absolutely. I was loving life. And I was loving
I
life.
bought more shares in one shot out of this entire time when I got it at 99 cents, and everything around 99 cents and $1. I bought so many shares, you guys. I know everybody else did too.
Through that short window of period, I dropped my price average by like over 30%.
So I know one person that he can quote me. His name's Hayden. He's actually has a message or a question for us, which is actually a good question, because I hope we've answered the reverse split nonsense, because it's just straight nonsense. Actually, it kind of deserves. We're going to switch topics and talk about squirrel. What? What are we going to talk about? Squirrel. Oh, yeah, squirrel. Hayden's question. Do you guys think Andrew Left waits until the end of the trial before he sings? No.
He's been trying to. This whole time he's been trying to. They said they took all the information that said you're doing the time anyways.
I think he's doing it right now as we speak. He's going to save his own ass before he does anything.
He's already trying to point.
He's been doing it since they arrested him. That was part of the deal. And then they double crossed him. And now they said, no, we're not going to reduce any of your time. Even though they said, if you provide us with information that results in the successful prosecution of other white collar crimes, we will consider taking years off your 387-year potential prison sentence. And then they said, well, we told you that.
But then they got disclosures from Anson that implemented him further. And now he's suing Anson, saying that they falsified information towards the investigation that implemented him. And so
who at Anson doesn't like him that much? I mean, really, is it a conspiracy, or did you just get caught doing more shit you thought you weren't going to get caught for and you fucked yourself over? Because that's the thing. There's always an asterisk when they make you a deal like that. You are quite literally making a deal with the devil when you agree to become an informant for the government. Like, that always goes with an asterisk.
I want to spin off of this, because now you got Anson supplying information that implements Andrew Left, who's already being investigated, who was trying to plea some information for leniency, whatever, right? But now you got Anson named in the MMTLB bankruptcy filing, along with all the fucking market makers, FINRA, the DTC, and everybody else, right? And you can tie Anson, Citron, and Andrew Left to the whole short distort campaign that Andrew Left's being prosecuted for, right? So you know that they're still investigating these other firms and implementing Anson now in the MMTLP fiasco,
which opens the doors wide open.
All this shit's gonna get fucking connected. The problem with the MMTLP being in the court isn't that the information isn't going to be found through discovery. I believe that it will be court sealed.
It has to be.
So while we won't be privy to the exact information that they find through the discovery, MMTLP parties will be. And cause and effect of that information will be publicly available, and you can draw your own conclusions from that.
They are never going to let that see the sight of day until there's some sort of case study that needs to come out on it, period. Because if they don't have the money flowing through the markets, you don't have an economy.
It could lead to Senate hearings in which we could get some.
Then you're going to get horse
accusations and denials.
You're going to get a lot of this.
Yeah.
I mean, just a lot of it, and it's just flowing. I mean, there's no, please. They're not.
Today's Senate hearing is sponsored by Taco Bell.
You know what? Actually, do you know what? There is a good Senate hearing. I mean, when it really comes to like our government and what our government's about, it's really changed into political satire comedy. I think, me personally, I think it's more so ran by a bunch of babies.
Market, call us a mission.
Many people want to know, what is your DJ name?
My DJ name?
Your DJ name.
You're not ready for my DJ name.
On the war. If the fighting were to resume, because you've said that Operation Epic Fury is over, the president also said that the U.S. would bomb them off the face of the earth if they tried to go after U.S. ships. So if the fighting resumes, are you saying that it would resume under Project Freedom? And I ask, as it relates to the War Powers Act.
Yeah, look, the Operation Epic Fury is concluded. We achieved the objectives of that operation. I'm not going to, we're not cheering for an additional situation to occur. We would prefer the path of peace. What the president would prefer is a deal. He would prefer to sit down, work out a memorandum of understanding for future negotiations that touches on all the key topics that have to be addressed, a full opening of the strait so the world can get back to normal. And he preferred that be negotiated through the route that Steve and Jared have been working and that all of us have been supporting. That's the route he prefers. That is so far not the route that Iran has chosen. And so the result has been that the United States has to do something about the fact that we're the only nation on earth that can do anything to open up a lane within the Straits of Hormuz to get product and to rescue these people that are trapped in there. And that's what we're undergoing now. What that may lead to in the future is speculative. I'm not going to speculate about what it would take or what it would do. But look, the message to Iran, these guys are facing, they are facing real catastrophic destruction to their economy, generational destruction to their economy, generational destruction to the wealth of their country, imposed on themselves by the actions that they're taking. They should check themselves before they wreck themselves in the direction that they're going.
And we have a big search for fraud. Very little. When people get arrested all over Minnesota, all over California, wait till you see what we're coming up with in California. Gavin Newsom is not good. But he gave the worst interview a month ago. Did you see it? Where he said he was incompetent, he can't read, he can't write, he can't do it. He said he's horrible for testing. We should give him a cognitive test. I took 3 of them. Aced all of them, by the way. 3 of them. I'm the only president. I'm the only president to take a cognitive test. Because I don't think Obama could pass it. I don't. Didn't he get into Harvard with a C average? I don't know. What's that? I don't think he could pass it. I don't think. Well, Biden isn't. Give me a break. The first question is very easy. It's a lion, a giraffe, a bear, and a shark. They say, which one is the bear? And everybody says, 30 questions. Everyone says, very standard. It's a very standard test, but very tough around those last 10 questions. Not too many people, even in this very room, unlike Newsom, I'll say, this room of geniuses. He said, I'm in a room of dumb people. That was not good. That was not good. You know what happened to him after that? It wasn't a pretty, but I'm in a room of brilliant people, but a lot of you wouldn't have been able to answer those 10 questions.
It's baby government. It's so true. That's the scary part.
Is that why they all shit themselves?
Oh, yeah. Literally. And they do it so perfectly. And that was another thing that I saw recently, too, that really just absolutely grinded my gears. And that was, here's President Trump, hey, Mr. President, are you worried about, the finances of, Americans? Everything's getting more expensive and everything's like this. All of a sudden, this is what you hear. No, I'm actually more worried about Iran and having a nuclear arsenal right now. What? What do you mean? You're more concerned about another country than you are about your own. I have a problem with that. That's why I've said from the beginning, I'm not red, I'm not blue, I vote green. Whoever's going to make me money, that's who I'm voting for. That's first and foremost. But secondly, it's all bullshit.
More people die from the monetary policy that they implement than any fucking wars or nuclear weapons.
Could you imagine it? Let's just say that things went south and we went into war with China. They have all those robots. They actually have videos of them going over all terrains and different shooting styles and everything else. And they're robots. They're Tesla bots. They don't die. when you shoot them. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. The other parts of this, I mean, but like even like as we go along, like even other people within the government and the people that are, you know, here's core inflation up, highest it's been since in 3.5 years. PPI, same thing, highest it's ever been. I think what I read was, if it was correct, over 6%. CPI is the most important.
The idea that we have EMP pulse technology that could take out all this fucking technology in any war scenario is absolutely ridiculous that any of this is going on at all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's no reason for any of it. And then, you know, you're sitting here and I'm like, I'm going over like people's and like some of these people and like, have you ever gotten yourself into like a war on social media, especially like on Twitter? You're just like, you know what? Okay, I'm sick and tired of seeing this clown. I'm going to go ahead. If he's going to razz on somebody, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to smoke him. He's done. I'm just going to take care of this. This is going to be one shot. Goodbye. And I went in there with, I mean, guns blazing. Guns blazing. And I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to get a response back. I can't wait for this to happen. I'm ready for it. He sends me Billy Crystal saying Kleenex. I'm like, what? That's it. That's all you have. You can't say anything. No rebuttal, no nothing. No, because I put it all in one tweet. And that was your favorite Baldylocks. Matt. Good old Baldylocks. Was the one that did that. Was my nominee for Dum Dum of the Week. That changed, though. You'll see why later on. But, like, for me, like, it just seems that, like, everything on social media, like, even when it comes to, like, okay, I even did a response. I responded to Twitter because, like, none of this makes sense to me. How, like, we went from this many views to this many views, like, down, which doesn't make sense. The people, like, my responses that are being suppressed beyond belief doesn't make sense. I'm a Premium Plus member because I have to have it so I could do these live streams like we're doing. And I contacted customer service 2 days ago, and I've yet to get a response. How is that possible? Like, that's crazy to me. And now all of a sudden, like, I'm sitting here, and then you get these, these dum-dums that are sitting here, you know, trying to question us. Even today. I'm not going to get into that because that's going to be in the next segment. But, like, regardless, even today. He knew he was wrong.
Every day.
I mean, but like, here I am, like, getting into it and doing my part to, like, protect, because honestly, it's ridiculous now. Because none of them have a pure argument. None of them actually have thoughts that are actually factual in any which way. They're all opinion based.
And then they're tied to the wrong document that they're using to back their opinion.
Correct. Like I proved today. And don't worry, that's not even the first example. I actually have another example, even though that I don't know how much everybody is invested in GNS or not, but like I have another example from basically he does the DD and does the work and everything else, and he has all of the things that he could show that basically says Tony Dinner was full of shit. And I don't get it. He sprinkles a little things. He does facts that basically makes him look like he's something, and then all of a sudden just doesn't even mention it within his argument. How does that work? Don't you use facts to back up your claims?
No, it's no different than the analogy that he put on the earnings statements when he tries to break down the PE ratios on the net balance versus all the other factors that equate in the net, or talks about IPTA without breaking down the difference in IPTA value, what it's EBIT minus the depreciation and amortization, or the non-cash aspects of bottom line net and EBITDA. So operational cash versus non-cash.
Don't get into your explanation yet. Don't get into your explanation yet.
You can't ignore all that. It's all tied together.
But don't get into your explanation of it.
Choose your data points to fit your narrative, because people believe you, and your day traders that sit alongside and listen to your fucking day trade profiteering.
I mean, but
whatever.
Don't get into your explanation of the clown, please. Don't do that yet. But like
my favorite, I'll get into it.
You get into it when we get there. But like, do you know what's really funny? This is really funny, Matt, and especially between you and I. This is where it gets hilarious. You know how you were saying, like, we would be talking about something just randomly, and then all of a sudden, here comes somebody's had to have been listening to our conversation. Like, just randomly, all of a sudden, here's somebody writing about what we were talking about. This is as of 13 minutes ago.
Really?
Yeah, 13 minutes ago. Exactly when...
They're just getting so much quicker at...
Oh, this is from Nachi. I promise you, Citron Research, Andy, your best bet is to sing like a canary. You former peer and counsel are absolutely lying to you. Surely they wouldn't betray you. I'm done with the tripper, the nonsense of the tweet within the tweet, and the metaphors of all the rock and the cage and the kick and the can.
But hold on, we're still waiting for that.
Yeah, I get that, but it's still, you know, it's not coming.
Are you sure?
I'm 1,000% positive.
I'm sorry, I don't have a laughing emoji.
I don't either right now, but like, honestly, come on. He's done this every time. It doesn't matter. He's gonna, this is gonna be my last one, I swear. And then all of a sudden, nothing happens. I think there was a tweet actually posted about it. He was like 0 for 17. I would stop predicting. You're not Nostradamus. Speaking of which, I do have to make Dum Dum a hat that actually has Nostradamus on it. Like he just has the hat. It would be perfect. Hayden says that Tony D and Matt Kors are lovers. That wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. As long as they're both wearing the fanny pack that says Matt Kors Dumb Collection on it, then we're good.
Well, I mean, Trey is the son of a California lieutenant governor.
Yeah, I mean,
lieutenant governor.
Pretty damn close. I mean, you're right there for sure. But it's annoying. Like, it's annoying because a lot of these people are just, common sense. Don't get into an argument that you can't back up. If you're not going to throw out the facts, listen, I'm going to give you the bare bones, down to the wire fact. I've been in the game. I'm not going to sit there and say that I haven't, and I'm not going to try and, maybe this could be something if I dreamed that it would happen, but it's all speculation, really. What? Don't give me that. Don't give me that. I don't want to hear hypothetical speculation. I don't want to hear any of that shit. I'm not here for speculation. I'm not here for clout. Speaking of clout, because this is a perfect time, Dum Dum of the Week.
Of the city where the lost souls creep. I'm the king of the gutter. Watch me as I read. Yeah.
This is my kingdom. Welcome to Dum Dum of the Week.
Oh, he's perfect! No, we are not doing this again! Not another one!
Wait, what's going on?
Eu amo dar espaço.
He has no idea, does he?
Not a single clue.
This is already a disaster.
I think I know what I'm doing. I think I know what I'm doing.
So, what exactly makes you an expert?
I read a post.
That's it?
Yeah. It had a lot of likes.
Where did you do your research?
I did my research. On X.
Oh no.
There it is. That's not research! That's not how this work works! He said X! He really said X!
It made sense to me. Confidence beats facts.
You really believe that?
Yeah, it feels right. Oh, this is incredible. I can't do this.
So your entire belief system comes from one post?
It had a lot of likes.
That's your evidence?
That's enough for me. That's unstoppable. This is painful.
You can't just believe everything you see!
He absolutely can, apparently!
You're overthinking? This is basic thinking!
No, let him cook. I want to see where this goes.
It's really not that complicated.
Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro.
All right.
Here we go.
Trust me, bro.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
This guy again?
Go on.
Oh, this is painful.
This guy is completely wrong! I told you, I'm basically a genius.
Wow, that's actually impressive.
Stop talking! And that's your Dum Dum of the Week.
Oh my god!
I can't do this anymore!
All right. Everybody knows the rules of Dum Dum of the Week. We go on Twitter, we read the dumbest tweet that we could possibly find, or find the dumbest news that we can find, and bring it back to you and call them out online. Matt, I'm going to give the mic over to you.
All right, so we already discussed, and obviously people already figured out that my nomination is Tony Dum Dum De Niro. Not because he was incorrect in his opinion, or stating his opinion was incorrect, but that he framed it in a way that was misleading and tagged it to a document that had nothing to do with the basis of his opinion. Now, if he wanted to throw out the 10D or 10G by Discovery in their ownership position, then he could have backed his opinion based on that knowing that the indenture has a 9.9% ownership issuance threshold. But he didn't. Because, in my opinion, if he would have, then people would have noticed that the filing by Discovery put him over the 5%, but not up to the 10%, which means a 2% issuance wouldn't have had that many shares to sell to get them within the threshold balance to stay under the 9.9% after the 2 million issuance.
Here's the other point, though, Matt. Here's the other point, which I
2%
find.
issuance.
Here's the other point that I find funny, though. Hold real quick, is that if all those shares that were supposedly his claim were distributed prior to earnings, so that means that
and that's where I was going next.
Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting, but that was the part that would just, I'm like, what?
So when he framed it as what's currently going on in the markets, how do you mean currently? Because currently, since earnings, they dropped our price by 15% in 3 days.
Which the amount of shares wouldn't even come close to dropping that.
Correct. On an increasing volume in the last 3 days. Now, if you go to prior to earnings, which is the point and period in which they would have had to sell shares in order to meet threshold pre-requirements to not have the 12 million 2% ownership issuance break the indenture threshold limits, they would have had to sell them into the earnings run-up, which makes sense because institutions obviously sell up when they're trying to capitalize max cash value for shares at the time of sale. So your recent tag, tying it to what's going on now with the 15% price depreciation, isn't them selling issued shares. The run up prior to earnings, probably, if that be the case, but it's still an opinion based on past actions, though there are many other ways that they can meet threshold requirements prior to that issue besides just selling into the market. Add to that the fact that the issuance happened in the 8K from AMC on earnings or the day before. So it would do no good for them to sell shares after they already broke the indenture threshold by being issued over the 9.99%. That would be in breach of the indenture issuance.
He's just, but like, why? Why even bother? Why even try to come up with that argument? I mean, he was just, hold on.
And then to get his version of Matthews to come in and defend him.
Oh, that was hilarious. He never said that. Where do you see that? I'm like, it's right there. It's one tweet. It's right there.
And fucking thinking, oh my goodness. Like, the math doesn't add up for one. Two, to say that you didn't narrate it as factual based on the 8K, which is tagged directly into the narrative, and then base it as fact-based backed by the 8K is absolutely misleading to the truth. And like I said, if you're not going to include the 10G or the 10D submissions prior to the issuance to Discovery by Discovery, right, then you're not representing the full picture of information for the narrative that you're spinning.
Here, apes out there, I want you to try something new. And whenever anyone, I know Matt and I are great about doing it. I know Chaotic's great about doing it. Hold on, Matt. Hold on, 2 seconds. I'm just saying, I want everybody to do this moving forward. Okay, you come up with something that's great that's, you know, that should improve our situation, whatever the case may be, say, where do you see that? Where's the fact behind it? It's real simple. Because Matt, you and I, we do it all the time. Everything. If we say it, we're going to show you why we're coming up with it.
And how long did it take me to come up with the 10D, 10G reports by Discovery?
Literally, you were talking to me about it 15 minutes after I posted.
There you go. It didn't take long. My first attempt, and boom, there it is. Okay, there's what I needed to know. And that's why you, like, when I'm saying this stuff, it's backed by the document that's associated to what I'm saying.
Correct.
I'm not spinning some opinion as fact based on a document that has nothing to do with the opinion that I'm giving.
You're only, if you have something, great. Make sure you can back it up. That's all I want. I've heard Tony D was a C-list
Or state it as an opinion and why you're basing your opinion based on the information that you have. But don't present it as this must have happened and did happen and is fact based on this statement, this document right here, which isn't supportive of your...
No. I mean, there's no, I mean, it's his narrative. He's trying to push his narrative. Hayden has a great comment for this one, and I'm going to read this one out loud. I've heard Tony D was a C-list actor, correct? I think he was in the movie industry, but more fluffer than an on-screen presence. Matt, okay. Matt, you know me, you know my past. I did a whole thing with our good buddy Average on him. Like, there's a lot. If you actually knew, like, I'm not turning this into a roast.
There's a history there.
There's a big history there. And if you want, the name starts with a Francesi. Now look. That's all I'm going to say. And you can look from there.
And there's been many of De Niro's. There's been many of Spence's. There's been so many. But he's the current one that...
No, Spence is in GME. Spence is hardcore in GME right now.
Yes, good. I'm glad he moved over to them. I mean, I'm sorry for you GME guys, but
yeah, I'm really sorry.
I'm glad he's finally fucking out of our space since the whole.
I mean, holy Jesus,
AMC arbitrage, trade fucking bullshit, narrative lie spins that he was fucking playing on that.
I mean, holy shit. I mean, you could take that frog hat and go fucking hop some tadpoles, please. You'll just get out of here. That's all I got to say about that clown. But, Chaotic, are you eating dinner or are you there? Nope. I don't want her to come in like halfway through mine and then all of a sudden, all right, I'm ready.
I don't know if she will be because she was going to eat, right?
Yeah, she was going to Din Din. So, I mean...
Got to feed the little one.
Yeah, little one's got to eat. Mine, we're going to do my dum-dum just because I want to. My dum-dum of the week happens to be our new Secretary of the Treasury. Oh, you mean the unmasked investor? Because he's not masked anymore. He's the unmasked investor. And I don't want to give it away, but I'm going to give it away a little bit. The next parody video that I do is all about the wonderful tool that's basically the equivalent of nothing, because it's called charting. It's almost as good as a horoscope for men. And the next parody is going to be about charting and what it doesn't tell you. So, just so you know, but the unmasked investor is the best when it comes to horoscopes for men. Anywho, mine is our new Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bassett. So, what do I have to say about this guy? But a clown. I mean, an absolute clown. His first interview And he comes on and he starts talking about, oh, grocery prices are going down. Oil prices are going down. Americans are happy with the progress that we've made. I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my dad, and Papa A's like, what is he smoking? I'm like, whatever he is, I want some. Because here in Chicago, the very next day, here's gas that was at $5 a gallon. Now up literally, as we're driving by, here's the price increase to $5.30. But gas prices are going down. Grocery prices are going down. The cost of homes are going down.
Jobs are going up.
And
right?
jobs are, you know, our labor market is the strongest it's ever been. Until we actually do the revisions at the end of the month, because, you know, that's what our common chain and common thing of doing is. And we rinse, we cycle, we repeat. We rinse, we cycle, and repeat. And it keeps on going. And he's sitting there and he's saying all this. I'm like, where's Janet the Tinkerbell yelling? This sounds almost like she's trying to give a Gold Bond excretion powder commercial. Talking about putting this powder underneath her thunder thighs and her under boob. Like, I mean, this is the dumbest thing I could possibly hear. And I got out of there, like, watching this interview, or watching his first press conference, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I am dumber for watching this. Like, I didn't get smarter. I didn't learn anything for sure. And it's the same thing. It's all of the mouth. And every single one of them are doing the exact same thing. Or they're talking about something. Squirrel! When they're talking about something else. And then all of a sudden they're talking about it, and then squirrel! And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's like they're purposely doing it to just confuse you, try and confuse you more, but they're not talking about the problem originally. And they're not talking about any solutions on what they're going to do. So, in light of our new Secretary of the Treasury, you get the honor of the ultimate Dum Dum of the Week award by having your own parody video. Enjoy.
Call us Mr. Besant is the Fed's estimate. Well, just a few more planned for interest rates.
Sir, are we in a depression? What about the dollar? What is your plan?
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Now, let me be clear. Inflation is basically at 2%. Eggs are only $7 if you insist on buying food. Grocery prices are coming down beautifully. Some people are saying they've never seen prices this low. Those people may or may not exist. I know some radical extremists are claiming eggs cost nearly $7 a dozen, but that's only because they insist on buying food.
Then why are eggs $7?
And yes, I understand some Americans are concerned that a venti Starbucks coffee in Chicago costs approximately $9.
$9 for coffee?
But have you considered ordering less coffee and more fiscal discipline?
Are puppet master Jimmy still considered temporary inflation relief?
What the hell happened?
On Tuesday, I will travel to Tokyo to meet with Prime Minister Takahashi, who allegedly slid into my DMs at 3:14 a.m. asking if I wanted a shitty tuna roll freshly prepared in highly suspicious circumstances.
Frankly, I thought that was rude, but also very competitively priced. I will also meet with Finance Minister Sasti, prefer a shitty tuna roll made from cat. I told her I hope she meant the cat system and not an actual phenol. Our negotiations remain productive. By productive, I will spend several hours on my hands and knees begging them not to treasury bonds and the merit launch the yen into low Earth orbit. There's also been significant Trump's gold flake initiatory screm. Unfortunately, due to supply chain issues, our allies may temporarily have to settle for bid and glide and elationary comfort screm. Please do not apply either product near the eyes or nose, as side effects may include severe burning sensations and possible COVID of the etch-mike the asshole.
What is going on?
What are you real?
Yeah, what is this talking about?
On Wednesday, I will travel to Seoul to meet with our Bide and Glide suppliers and hopefully secure a shipment of Puppet Master gummies because we haven't fresh no amount of bully Asher nonsense to keep pumping into financial markets. This will be the biggest load bullshit to get these marts to corporate.
Wait. Are we already running low on Puppet Master gummies?
As I always say, national security is economic security. And economic security is whatever we say it is during the current news cycle. I look forward to the privilege of bending over and taking up the tailpipe for President Trump's America First economic agenda, which I fully support, despite none of us interest rates actually work. What about the fiscal cliff?
Is the market crashing now? Is that a market?
Is that a new tax? Every morning I wake up, wet my whistle, hoping Trump doesn't put me in timeout and give me enough time to stare into the mirror and whisper, why the hell did I take this Treasury job?
Mr. Besant, if nobody really understands how this system works anymore, then what exactly are we all doing here?
BDBD. That's all, folks.
I mean, come on. And then we did add a new product here over at the Ape Cage, and that is the new gold flake inflationary comfort cream. So, does have some benefits to it. You can see it on the commercial coming soon. But I hope you guys like the Puppet Master gummies, or the Puppet Master Jimmies, as I would say. But still, and I mean, nothing's getting cheaper. Everything's going up in price. And now when you look at the housing market, and Chaotic sent this to us, and I actually did a little bit more digging into it because this is something that I definitely had to do. And in regards to like real estate, now there's certain areas in real estate, and especially in, state by state basis. And it's been due to like green card employees, like here in Chicago, like you have Motorola that's out in Schaumburg. So you have a lot of people that are on visa that are coming in and they are purchasing homes, and they're working for Motorola. They're going ahead. They're buying homes, but their contract is normally for like 3 to 5 years, independent. But they would rather buy than rent. So they buy these homes, and sure enough, here's the new program. Here, it's totally supported by your tax dollars to go ahead and actually help for them to be able to put money down, and them basically not having to bring anything to closing, because they do have what is called a silent second that gets put onto their mortgage, and they just sell the house when they move. And that's it. But your tax dollars and everything else is going towards these programs to go ahead and help them give a down payment assistance on their purchase of an FHA mortgage. And it's only for certain demographics. That sounds like a problem to me, because it's a huge one. Because now, when you look at the real estate market, there's more buyers than there are sellers. By a huge difference. For every buyer, there's 3 sellers. That's a problem. Huge one. But let's not talk about that. It's what you'll hear from any government official. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this instead. Or let's talk about... Because we can't talk about that.
Let's add to that they're not only getting supplemented on the down payment, but they're also getting discount based bottom funded rates on the mortgage, which no citizen.
No, not really. It's still based upon some sort of credit criteria.
But what credit?
I mean,
job credit?
I mean, most of them, when they come into the United States, when they first go ahead and purchase a home, most of their equivalent is based upon, them having credit cards, whatever credit cards that they have out at that particular time. That's what they're going to justify their credit score with. Just remember, Matt, it's the people that are over $40 trillion in debt that are telling you what your credit score is. Always remember that. It doesn't matter what you've done, if you've done it responsibly or anything else. They're telling you what your credit score is. But every single one of them is above 800. Yet in a lot of debt, stealing money, cheating in every turn. Yeah, all the above. So you're right. They're getting all these benefits and perks for purchasing a home, and a home that may maybe be in for maybe 3 to 5 years at max. Sometimes their contracts don't get renewed, so they're forced to sell. It's a really bad situation. And now this isn't happening everywhere, but in concentrated areas, in certain peak areas, yes, it is. And most companies themselves, especially ones that have a lot of, businesses, like in just north of Northbrook, which is the northern suburb of Chicago, you have Discover, you have Baxter, you have Underwriters Laboratories, and you have Discover. And on top of that, Allstate headquarters are all located right there. So they bring in a lot of people. And the problem with that is that because of, the subsidiary of BlackRock, Blackstone, who's going ahead and tried to buy up all this real estate and then afterwards sold it for $50,000 above list. And people were buying it, even though the house wasn't worth that. You're going to see a harsh correction when it comes to that real estate market. And once that collateral is really adjusted for what it's supposed to be, oh boy, do you have a problem. Because what is your main source of collateral? One of them, commercial, residential. 1 and 2 on your collateral list. You got a big. But everyone in the political theater, every one of them in this satire are doing the exact same thing. It's not here, it's there. It's not up, it's down. It's not left, it's right. It's not here, it's there. It's looked over here. Don't look there. Don't look here. Don't talk about that. Don't talk about this. And then today, fresh today, here's President Trump giving the nominee to the vice president and Rubio. Rubio is the vice. What, 2 years? Not even? Man, am I wrong? He's not even 2 years in.
Nah, it's about right.
Come on. I want somebody fresh. Literally, just take every whoever's going to be nominated. I want everybody out. Just everybody. Let's get the one, whoever speaks the most nonsense. That's who I want. Oh, yeah, they were doing interest-only loans, HELOCs, silent seconds, you name it. Absolutely. It's crazy. Or you had rent to own, you had all these different types of scams. It's a bunch of them. It doesn't change. And to think, and this is the craziest part about all of it, the same people that destroyed the economy and destroyed the housing market in 2008 are the same people that are in today.
Can I steer you a little bit into another conversation that ties to that?
Sure, why not? I
Fed
don't
rate
know.
policy.
I think Chaotic's still eating.
Fed rate policy.
Oh, that's just a joke.
But yeah, absolutely. But that ties directly into this.
So
real estate.
Kind of. Okay, so here's the difference. So the Fed rate is his own set. Mortgage rates are the redheaded stepchild that are sitting there in the corner that aren't going to listen and aren't going to do anything when it comes to what you direct the Fed rate to be. They literally are the redheaded stepchild. If you put rates down, they could go opposite and go up. You could go up, they could possibly fall down. Not in these set of circumstances, because you have no collateral and you have nothing to justify that, because right now you're in a pinch. And honestly, it's the worst.
Right. But the connecting tissue between the bank rate and the redheaded stepchild that is the Fed rate is the debt bonds, which is the top of the real estate pyramid.
Well,
and that affects the auction.
That's fueling that's what's fueling the bonds, because there's so much debt in there that you can't come out. And now that the default rates are as high as they are, you're screwed. You couldn't lower rates if your life depended on it right now. You're actually in a position where and it's such a terrible time.
And they tried to get you to buy the narrative that rates were going to be cut how many times this year? We're already halfway into the year, and they're basically talking no rate cuts.
Hold on.
For the foreseeable. Yeah, maybe that
was I mean, just of the mouth everywhere. It's everywhere, folks. And here's the I mean, honestly, this is the icing on the cake, is that, oh my God, we got to get Jerome Mr. Burns Powell out. Oh my God, we got to get Jerome Mr. Burns Powell out. Oh my God, we got to get Jerome Mr. Burns Powell out. We got to get somebody in here who's going to lower rates, that's going to do what the president says, because whenever a new president comes in, we have to have somebody in the Fed that's going to go ahead and equal out what he says. Why do we have the Fed? Why do we have the Fed? That's the $1 million question. Honestly, that's $1 million question.
So I'm going to spin off of that a little bit. And then how does Fed bond auctions and rates and the debt and private credit exposure, how does that all tie in to these municipal bond fiasco that's going on?
Well, see, and that's your biggest problem, because you actually have people who used to work for everybody's favorite company, Citadel, who basically run and control the municipal bonds, so they could actually dictate, what city gets burned to the ground if they wanted to.
And municipal bonds were supposed to be the
safest of safe,
base interest guaranteed, no
safest
chance of default, AAA, no, as safe as gold.
I mean, even more. Those are valued. I mean, if you wanted a moon rock, that's the closest thing to a moon rock. I mean, was not anymore. That's because of crime. That's because of private credit. That's because of the immersed black hole that is just sucking up everything and is eventually going to turn into a nuclear bomb that they're going to try and put on your lap. And they're trying right now. The hints are everywhere. If you haven't noticed, what I said about President Trump and what what do you think about the household financing right now in the United States? Everything seems to be going up. I'm more concerned about nukes in Iran. What? Mayor Daley in Chicago, Mayor Daley Sr., was the most famous politician for that. He could be sitting there in a press conference right now. You could be talking to them about healthcare, and all of a sudden he's talking about and we're talking about the Daily Hit Squad. What do you mean the Daily Hit Squad? There's a hit squad? Where? Why? Whoa! Forget this. Let's talk about that.
I think it's a good time to repeatedly punch that squirrel button.
I mean, but that's exactly what this is. It's to take your attention. Here it is, right in front of your face, and just hence Puppet Master gummies. They move markets without you having to. But that's what it is, and that's what's going on right now. And that they're trying to do everything that they can to basically have you guys not look at the original problem as we're sitting here right now. A war right now. There's your S&P 500. Guaranteed. They're honestly just raising it to try and let people get out before they tank it. That's the only reason that it would keep on going up like this. There's no reason for this. None. Because none of it is justifiable in value. None. Zero. You have 7 to 10 stocks, maybe if at most, that are doing all the weight, holding up the entire fucking thing. While the rest are sitting there just saying, but yeah, I'm tired. So much work doing nothing. And I mean nothing. But that's what it is. And one more thing, Matt, because I know you look at the political aspect as much as I do in all this. What is Trump doing bringing all these CEOs to hold on. Squirrel! Besides Squirrel. To, where is it? Where's my button? Maybe it's here. Oh, that's a drum roll. He likes my drum roll a little bit more.
Went well together.
It kind of did, actually.
Now the military march going on with the Chinese.
Yeah, but we're going to do that again.
Finish.
Why is Trump bringing all these CEOs with? I know it's because of SpaceX. I mean, that's the main thing. That's the ultimate goal, is to get that up.
It's partially that, but I think Trump thinks, well, we all know market wags the economy dog. And Trump has this idea that Dow, S&P indexes, all strong and at all-time highs, is economic strength. Because that's what he knows. He's a businessman. That's what he's done all his life. Real estate is a market economy. It's not a true economy when it comes to wages and living costs. So obviously he's catering to the Wall Street crowd to get their advice on how to keep the market going up.
I mean, it's more heavy lifting.
And it's wrong. It's not supposed to be that way. You want the market should go up by natural cause and effect of a strong economy, not the other way around.
I don't understand. Like, I really don't. Like, if I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong, because I really would love to know. I really would love to hear the why in all this, because I'm curious. This was not the platform that we voted on, folks. I mean, not at all.
I mean, he called Kenny a great guy. What a guy. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, just recently, too. Just recently. They were best friends again, evidently. And I mean, and no one's talking about this. Like, I know I talked about it last week, but I mean, still, no one's talking about the shit that we're talking about. No one even thinks to look at it until like 3 weeks later.
No, they bring it up about 16 minutes to 24 hours after.
Oh, thank you. It's like Nachi. That just did that. That was a perfect example. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Way to go grind my gears then more, buddy. But okay, but in all seriousness, before it hits mainstream media, like, they're not talking about this until like 3 weeks later. Good old shout out to my good friend Felix the Cat, especially with the Dowd interview. That guy's been saying that in that hour interview is the same thing I've been touting for the last 4 fucking years.
Oh my goodness, my next cat, I'm gonna name Chopsticks.
Dun, 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 dun. Hold on, yeah, you get it because you just said chopsticks.
Gato tacos.
I mean, I've said
when I get rich, I'm gonna open a fucking Mexican restaurant. It's gonna be called Gato's Tacos.
I don't have a mariachi band like on me for a button, or else I would give it to you right now. But I mean, I could try. But seriously, I mean, I've said all this stuff, and now it's just finally being talked about. That is absurd to me. I mean, this is the stuff that you guys need to know. You guys need to understand. Because by you understanding it, by you knowing it, guess what you're able to do? You're able to ask the big wigs the question. And that's the one thing that they hate more than ever, is somebody asking a question. So, without further ado, because we're going to get into it now. I want to get into it now, because this is what's going to make you guys grow. Plain and simple. Is what we're learning tonight. And what we're going to be learning all the time now. Because I need you guys to be on par with Matt and I. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to teach everything that they don't want you to know. The transparency gap. AMC, GME, modern market structure, delayed data, and Wall Street's favorite magic trick. New magic sound. Yeah. Let's get one thing straight right off the gate. This report is not claiming we uncovered some secret underground meeting where Wall Street elites sit around plotting against AMC and GME while stroking white cats and laughing at retail investors. Honestly, they do not even need to. Modern market structure is already complicated, fragmented, delayed, and opaque enough to destroy public trust all by itself. That is the real issue. And it is one regulators, institutions, and exchanges can no longer pretend retail investors are too dumb to notice. Retail investors were told markets were transparent, fair, regulated, and driven by supply and demand. Then AMC and GME happened. And millions of ordinary investors got introduced to a financial plumbing system that looks less free and less like a free market and more like a high-speed algorithmic labyrinth built by institutions for institutions. And suddenly people discovered dark pools, off-exchange dominance, internalized order flow, delay FTD reporting, rehypothecation chains, fragmented routing systems, synthetic exposure mechanics, AI-assisted execution tools, and enough market structure fine print to make a CPA start drinking before lunch. And somehow, after all of that, retail investors are still expected to blindly trust the system because somebody on CNBC said markets are fair and orderly. Sure they are. Markets now move in microseconds, while public transparency moves like it was waiting for dial-up internet to reconnect. The disconnect matters, because when retail investors repeatedly see millions of failed-to-deliver, suddenly spikes in borrowable shares, and elevated off-exchange trading, strange price action disconnected from sentiment, and enforcement actions arriving years after the fact with another neither admit nor deny wrongdoing settlement attached to it, people naturally start asking questions like, if markets are truly transparent, why does retail have to reverse engineer the system just to understand what happened? Well, it's not crazy question, it's logical question. Questions like, how can price discovery function properly when so much trading activity never even touches a lit exchange? How are retail investors supposed to independently verify settlement integrity when critical transparency systems operate with delayed measures in weeks or months? Just simple questions. How do millions of borrowable shares suddenly appear in stocks widely believed to have constrained supply? I mean, that's a great question. If markets are truly transparent, why does retail have to reverse engineer the system just to understand what happened? I don't know. Well, just that little thing. Now, before we start diving headfirst into the rabbit hole of delayed settlement data, opaque lending systems, fragmented routing, and market plumbing that somehow became more complicated than assembling IKEA furniture blindfolded during a power outage, let's establish something important. None of these individual issues alone automatically prove criminal manipulation. That matters, because the goal here is not to scream crime every time something looks strange. The goal is to examine why millions of retail investors increasingly believe the public has lost visibility into how modern markets actually function. And honestly, that concern did not come out of nowhere. Retail investors did not wake up one morning and randomly decide to learn about FTDs, rehypothecation chains, internalizers, dark pools, ETFs, redemption mechanics, synthetic exposure, and prime broker inventory systems for fun. Most people buying AMC and GME originally thought that they were participating in a straightforward market built on supply and demand and transparent price discovery. Instead, they found themselves staring into a financial ecosystem where critical information often arrives delayed, fragmented, buried beneath institutional complexity, or hidden behind systems the average investor was never even told existed. That is where the real problem begins. Because when transparency weakens, trust weakens right alongside it. And few areas highlight that growing disconnect more clearly than delayed fail to delivers reporting. In a market capable of processing billions of dollars in transactions in fractions of a second, retail investors are still expected to analyze settlement transparency using delayed data sets that can arrive weeks or even months after the fact. Markets now move at algorithmic speed while public visibility still feels like it runs on paperwork and buffering wheels. That disconnect is not just frustrating, it's corrosive. Because once investors begin questioning whether they are seeing the full picture in one area of the market structure, they naturally begin pulling on every other thread attached to it. Securities lending opacity, sudden borrow availability spikes, fragmented routing systems, off-exchange dominance, ETF redemption mechanics, synthetic exposure structures, rehypothecation chains, and institutional inventory systems that remain almost completely invisible to the average retail participant. And once retail investors started realizing how many critical moving parts exist behind the curtain, the question stops being, why are people suspicious? The real question becomes, how could public trust not erode inside a system this complex, this fast, and this difficult for ordinary investors to independently verify? That brings us directly into the issue sitting at the center of the entire AMC and GME transparency debate. Delayed, failed to deliver reporting, and settlement visibility. But before we dive into FTDs, you need to understand the maze your retail orders run through every single time you hit that buy button. The hidden market, the real cost of every buy button. Your retail order doesn't go straight to the stock exchange. It's routed, sliced, internalized, borrowed, lent, and rehypothecated through a system built for Wall Street, not for you. You don't see the process, they do. So the dark reality by the numbers, just so you understand this is the important part of this, is that 50 to 60% of all retail orders volume does not go to a lit exchange at all. Your pay for order flow reached $1.72 billion in 2024, up 36% from 22. Your average retail slippage on market orders, 0.11 to 0.23 cents per share. 7 out of 10 retail orders are executed off exchange. Always. That's on average for every single retail trade, not just you. Dark pools, ATSs, account for 15.6 to 18.4% of total U.S. equities volume. I mean, it's nuts. Your failed to delivers currently in the system, 1.3 billion shares estimate across all U.S. securities. Delivering price improvements to retail in theory, not in practice. Price improvements, they often negative after accounting for hidden fees, delays, and adverse selections. Matt, what do you got?
Well, I want to add, because you talk about the retail volume of retail trades not hitting the market, and that's payment for order flow, right?
Yeah.
But I want to hit on the aspect of custodians and omnibus values of them, and how the failed to clearance has spiked which is the cash side transfer
So-
balances from omnibus to omnibus on these transfers of values that are failing to clear at growth rates unprecedented.
I'll get to that here shortly, because right now we're at the impact on the retail investor. So you get worse prices, hidden liquidity, delayed reporting, pay for order flow, plus synthetic shares that are all included within your one purchase every single time you purchase. And Matt, here's your answer to your question. The cost to the retail investor. This is estimates since 21 to 25 in the amount of $23 to $31 billion plus in hidden cost. Worse prices and slippage. Hidden liquidity, payment for order flow, delayed settlement, failed to deliver, zero transparency for your entire retail trade.
And my point is, we're clearing deposits to make these trades.
Mm-hmm.
They're scalping all that value through PFOF block order and omnibus value balances covering custodian volume metrics of these nakeds. How are they failing to clear the money transfer side of all that if they're getting all the money and taking the profits?
We're going to get to that here soon, because I'll show you where. Because if you look inside the white box in the middle, because that's where we're heading to next, this explains your entire order flow from the time that you purchase it off of your phone to settlement. And this isn't in a T+1 or T+2. It really turns into like a T+7 or 14. They're telling you it's that. But as it goes through internalizers, when it goes through ATS, where it goes through off exchange, when it goes through, the Miami X exchange, when it goes through the New Texas exchange, it could be weeks. Who knows? It may never even hit a lit market, but you purchase it. And here's you, the retail trader right here. And then afterwards it's brokered. So it receives the order and doesn't send it to an exchange because that's too expensive. They have to send some orders to the exchange, but they're going to send it to whoever's going to give them the best price. That's how it always works. So here's your order router. Your payment for order flow sends to the highest bidder, not the best price. Wait a minute. I hope, Matt, I think you would figure out by now there's somebody that sits there and talks about, this exchange because it's so transparent and you get to see it because that's where all of his orders go, which they don't. Or else he wouldn't be in business. I'm sorry.
Nobody would do business with him.
No. Because it would be too expensive. And that's just being honest, folks. I'm sorry. It's just being honest. Market makers or internalizers. Executes internally or in a dark venue.
And the point to the failed clearances on the money side of the equation is rehypothecated omnibus value just being transferred at any given time to
I'm going to show you that chain.
Clearance obligations, which creates a temporary fail until they can move the Fugazi money around.
We're going to go over that.
Using Omnibus John to pay Omnibus Bruce back for money owes to Omnibus Doug, who in turn turns it back over to Omnibus John when he needs it.
Matt, we're going to go over the rehypothecation chains here shortly, and that's where what you just said. I'll let you take the floor and explain all that because I made it very apparent for you so that you can. So
drive on.
Yeah. The order fragmented and rehypothecation, which is the shares borrowed, lent, and reused, and then settlement. T1 or, most likely later. because it's going to be later. You receive a settlement, maybe, if you're lucky. So behind the curtain, where your order really goes. Here, retail orders 100 shares, buy. Here's your broker. Broker app here goes to payment for order flow. From there, here's where failed to delivers can here, and that kicks the can down the road for late settlements or exemption you may never know about. You think your shares went there, but more than likely, probably here. Now your ordered routers to wholesale market makers, internalizers, dark pools, ATSs, or hedge fund prime brokers. I wonder who those are. Execution right here for a lit exchange filled internally or off exchange without real price discovery ever happening.
Can you say ice?
Ice, baby. Dun 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 dun. Shares lent out, rehypothecated, and used again and again and again and again. And this is where you see this beautiful picture right here to your top right corner. And for GME and AMC, this is the big time. AMC and GME, the data doesn't lie, because it doesn't. AMC, 73.1% of trading volume executed off exchanges. And this is through October of 25, when we actually had the report, until it finally came out about 2.5 weeks ago. 2.5 weeks ago, folks. GameStop, 71.4% trading off exchange. The off trading volume executed off exchange since, what a shock, October of 25. 1.3 billion retail orders routed off exchange. Estimates between 21 to 25. 1.1 billion for GME. 5.1 billion estimated retail price impact. 5.1 billion is what this is affected in your price of AMC.
And we're supposed to believe FINRA when they basically disclose that there's been 0 FTDs since the turn of the year.
$5.1 billion. Hey, GME is right around the corner at 4.6 billion. And 10 plus million failed to deliver shares. And that is the most recent peak. Same thing with your 8 million plus. Your top off-exchange venues in U.S. equities by trading volume. What a shock. Number 1, Citadel. What a shock. Virtu's number 2. JP Morgan's 3. UBS is 4. And Wells Fargo coming up at the rear at 5. And then 27.4% in ATS and dark pools. So between, right now, just between Citadel and here, 54%, 55% in ATSs and dark pools. Right off the bat. Folks. Failed delivers that keep getting kicked in U.S. equities. And this is as of 2020. 1.3 billion FTD shares outstanding. As of right now. Transparency isn't radical. It's the bare minimum. Fair markets, real prices, equal access. And demand what is fair. Ban payment for order flow. Route orders to lit exchanges. Real-time public reporting. End PFOF hidden exemptions. And enforce settlement accountability. All of this is tracked, folks. Every single thing from SEC, FINRA ATSs, JP Morgan, the economics of best execution. SEC failed to deliver data between May of 2024, AMC, GME, SEC filings, NASDAQ Economic Research 2024, and SEC Investment Bulletin as of 2023 and current. This is your free and fair market for everybody. Now that you have seen the maze, you can probably understand why retail investors stop blindly accepting the phrase fair and orderly market. Like it was written on stone tablets handed down from Wall Street Mount Olympus. Because once you realize your orders can travel through wholesalers, ATS systems, internalizers, dark pools, routing engines, market makers, and off-exchange venues before maybe touching a lit exchange, the idea of a simple price discovery starts looking more like financial mythology than financial reality. And this is exactly why so many retail investors become obsessed with settlement transparency. Because if the public cannot clearly see where orders are routed, how liquidity is internalized, and how buying pressure interacts with fragmented markets in real time, then naturally people begin questioning every delayed data set attached to the system, especially failed to deliver reporting. Which brings us directly back to the issue sitting at the center of AMC and GME transparency debate, delayed FTD reporting and settlement visibility. Trust us, the shares are probably around here somewhere. Delayed FTD reporting, settlement transparency, Wall Street's favorite black box. Trust us. Black box, do not open. It's not missing, it's just invisible. Our process: take order, route, internalize, delay, hope you don't ask questions, because that's the truth. And this is exactly why so many retail investors became obsessed with settlement transparency. One of the biggest cracks in modern market transparency starts with failed to deliver reporting, or, as retail investors have come to know it, the financial equivalent of Amazon making your package delivered while you're standing outside staring at an empty porch, wondering if the driver launched it into another dimension. Except, unlike your missing air fryer, this involves billions of dollars, public companies, and retirement accounts, pension funds, and market systems that regulators assure everyone is functioning in a fair and orderly manner. Now, before somebody from financial television starts hyperventilating into CNBC coffee mugs, let's establish something important right away. FTDs alone do not automatically prove naked short selling, criminal manipulation, or some secret Wall Street supervillain conference held underneath the New York Stock Exchange next to the frozen body of Lehman Brothers. Even the SEC openly states that failed to delivers can occur for multiple legitimate reasons. Administrative delays happen. Settlement timing mismatches happen. Options activity can create temporary imbalances. Market makers have operational exemptions under certain conditions. Clerical errors happen because apparently even billion-dollar institutions occasionally operate like somebody spilled coffee on a keyboard during settlement processing. Fine. No one serious is arguing otherwise. But here is where retail investors stop politely nodding and start looking at the market the same way a mechanic looks at a transmission that just exploded on the highway, while the dealership insists that noise is completely normal. Because modern markets now operate at machine speed. Billions of dollars move through high-frequency systems, AI-assisted execution tools, algorithmic routing infrastructures, and automated liquidity engines capable of processing enormous amounts of market data in fractions of a second. Wall Street's firms spend fortunes shaving milliseconds off of execution time because in modern finance, speed, money, literally. Firms fight over milliseconds, exchange advertise low latency executions like sports cars advertise horsepower. Algorithms react to headlines before human beings finish reading them. I tell this to Matt all the time because honestly, it's the honest truth. If I don't get to reporting something or telling you guys something in 15 minutes, I lost a day. Literally. For when it comes to news, when it comes to all that, every 15 minutes, I lose an hour. And it's true. Because if I'm not able to give it to you within 15 minutes, someone else is going to within that hour. So that's how I look at things, and that's how this is designed. So entire strategies are built around speed advantages so tiny that the average person cannot even conceptualize them. And yet somehow, despite all of this technical sophistication, retail investors are still expected to analyze settlement transparency using delayed data sets that often arrive weeks or months after the actual trading activity occurred. Apparently, the market can process billion-dollar derivatives trades before you even blink. But public transparency still moves like someone's faxing paperwork through a potato-powered modern modem from 1998. And this system isn't broken, it's built this way. So AMC and GME expose the truth. Retail is demanding change, and you guys should get it. Honestly, you should, because retail orders institutional advantage. Retail investors face a system where speed is instant for institutions, but transparency is delayed for everyone else. We went over where your orders go, but now I'm going to show you more details behind it. So you place your order, broker apps receive your order, orders routed, split, and rerouted, and then maybe hits an exchange. Maybe. Just maybe. The off-exchange routing dominance as of October of 25, which was AMC 73.1 and GME at 71.4 off-exchange trading. More than 7 out of 10 trades in AMC and GME happen away from lit exchanges where prices are discovered. The top off-exchange venue by volume. And this is for both GME and AMC. GME Citadel is at 36.2. AMC Citadel is number 1 at 35.6. Virtu 17.2 for AMC, 17.4 for GME. JP Morgan 8.4. JP Morgan 8.6 for GME. UBS 6.0. UBS for GME 6.1. Other ATS and dark pools 32.8 for AMC and 31.7 for GME. So fairly equal for both based upon the numbers of who's the most and who's the least. The real cost to the retail investor is the biggest problem in this. And this is where we talked about that huge number. Here it is broken down. Worst prices, 10 to 12.6 billion. Payment for order flow, 6 to 8 billion. Hidden liquidity and dark pools, 4 to 6 billion. Delay price discovery, 3 to 5 billion. And lack of transparency, priceless. This is your total estimated cost to retail investors per year. 23 to 31 billion dollars is what it's costing you. That is missing money that should be going to your respective trades. That's being pushed into the pockets of these people right here, AMC and GME, who is the top, Citadel,
Wall Street Network.
Yep, here's where that money is going to, is these people. Second box from your left bottom. Big box. There it is. So the AMC GME retail power is real. So AMC Entertainment retail ownership estimates at 80% of the float. This was quoted by Adam Aaron. Over 4 billion shares traded in 21. One of the most actively traded stocks in the world. Over $1.4 billion in net retail buying pressure from 21 until 25. This is everything that you need to know right there in that one statement. $1.4 billion in net retail buying pressure from 21 to 25. Go ahead, Matt.
Can I add that just Q4 of 25 saw hedge funds net plus loss hit an all-time quarter, was it quarter year or half year, with the second half of 25 or fourth quarter alone, 25% value loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For an all-time high. I mean, that's more combined loss by hedge funds than the bank crisis of 23, 22 to 23, and 21, probably combined.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, I'm sorry.
And there, see, the thing is, when you connect that to what we know, is they don't eat that loss. That loss is passed to retail through the very mechanics of what you're talking about right now. Just like bank fines and stuff or higher rates, the institutions, the Wall Street institutions, don't eat that loss. They pass it on to the customer.
My good friend Melissa, I have to, that is not, there's no way that's Michael Burry's account where he's dressed up as a clown. Michael Burry 2.0, Hedgy McWedgie. There's no way that's Michael Burry. I'm sorry. Possibly there will be no more AMC weekly options chain either. That will never happen. Period. Ever.
No, because they'd have to settle out every single option rollover accumulation that they have.
Correct.
And that's their fucking liquidity cow. That's their future locate for their probability to locate on these naked cells that they're issuing.
So, and the same thing for the Nachi tweet of, on the eve before shit gets meme crazy, I want this to be my last tweet and a very special fuck you to Citibank. Don't worry, he's still 0 for 21. So you don't have to worry about that. Anywho, back to this. FTDs, the hidden problem. So the time date of this, which is T0, settlement date T2, FTD data released, which is T13, to T35, that's a problem. By then, damage is already done. So the fail to deliver data is reported weeks after the fact. Retail sees the information long after institutions have already reacted. So what happens is that AMC and GME FTDs still elevated. And this is as of today. They're still elevated. And they're still crazy. So in 23, here's GME at 1.1 billion, AMC 605 million. Then in 24 at 1.3 billion, plus for AMC, 1.1 billion for GME, and then 1.28 in AMC in quarter 3 of 25. This is October, where you saw the largest amount of FTDs that AMC has ever had was in October of 25. That's terrible. Delayed transparency and lost opportunity. By the time the public finds out, the price has already moved. This isn't transparency, it's blindfolded investing. And this is where your enforcement, more like snooze mode. Enforcement actions take years. Penalties are small, profits are huge. So Credit Suisse, and this is for the ATS bonds from 2014 to 21. This was the misconduct period for 7 years. They didn't get their enforcement until 23. Virtu financing from 2012 to 2017 for 5 years. They didn't get the enforcement until 2020. Barclays, 2013 to 2018. Didn't get their enforcement until 22. UBS, 2011 and 2016. Didn't get their enforcement until 21. And Robinhood, PFOF, from 2015 to 2020. Didn't get penalized until 22. What retail investors need: real-time FTD reporting, full transparency in off-exchange trading, end payment for order flow, stronger enforcement with real penalties, and markets that are fair, open, and accountable. This isn't about two stocks. This is about fair market for everyone. We don't need special treatment. We just need to level the playing field across the board. That's why by us educating you, this way you understand why transparent markets are a better future. And you can ask the question. That's the most important part. So that disconnect matters. And it matters a lot. Because the average investor is constantly told markets are built on trust, transparency, and price discovery. But transparency is delayed. Is transparent, and the transparency is weakened. If critical settlement data arrives, long after positions have changed, volatility is past. Liquidity conditions shifted and exposure moves elsewhere through derivatives or internal systems. Then the public is not truly observing the market in real time. They are just observing fragments of what already happened after the smoke cleared. So imagine trying to referee a football game using replay footage, and that footage was uploaded 6 weeks later, while the team has already played half of another season. That is essentially the problem retail investors are pointing at. But transparency delay is transparency weakened. So, and honestly, the SEC itself indirectly acknowledges parts of these issues through reforms like CAT system. SCI modernization, securities lending transparency proposals, enhanced Rule 605 disclosures, and swap reporting reforms. Regulators do not spend years building entirely new surveillance systems because everything is functioning flawlessly. They build them because markets evolve faster than oversight infrastructure did. Breaking the conversation for a second, because, and here's the biggest problem, is that once these systems are actually available and they're put in place, you have constituents like Hester Pierce, who votes no on every single one of them. Name me one vote she said yes to.
The fact that they have the CAT system, which can track all this fucking shit, but they are doing everything they can to stifle it and not utilize it for what it for the purpose for which it was
the biggest problem with
created.
But the biggest problem with the CAT system is that the CAT system is ran by Aladdin. Aladdin is owned by BlackRock. That's the problem.
Which is a conflict of interest in itself, which should be more than enough reason why it should be fully enabled.
Correct. But it would point out the hand that moves the market and the market that basically pays everybody else besides you.
Well, then maybe BlackRock shouldn't have fucking made Aladdin for themselves.
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I agree that they never should have sold that technology. Because now you can see exactly what they do. And hence why you all, and how I was able to show you how share lending creates shares through share lending cycles. That's how I was able to do it. So,
honestly, at this point in time, it would behoove our government to sell the CAT system out of U.S. jurisdictional right to Europe and let them fucking implement it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that would make sense. Like, that would honestly make sense. Because what you really need is regulators that aren't associated with the markets. You need somebody that's not looking at this shit from a day-to-day basis. And if they're not looking at it, they can't go ahead and actually say, oh, hey, this my boss says I have to do it this way.
If they're not hitting a self-destruct button, then they can actually use it for what it was intended to be.
Correct. So, and that's what makes this whole statement as true can be. This is not conspiracy theory territory. That is reality. And now let's simplify this for the average person, because Wall Street loves hiding behind complexity. A fail to deliver simply means one side of the stock transaction did not deliver the shares by the required settlement date. Think of it like selling somebody concert tickets and then not actually handing over the tickets when payment is due. Sometimes there are legitimate reasons. Sometimes the issue gets resolved quickly, but if failures become persistent, usually elevated or repeatedly connected to specific securities under heavy trading pressures, wink, wink, people are naturally going to start asking questions whether the system itself is functioning the way the public was told it does. Which brings you to your next part, which is Wall Street's game, our money, their rules. But now we've seen the board. The AMC GME story isn't just about two stocks. It's about a market structure built for institutions, not the people. So the hidden highway, where your order really goes. You click buy. Broker app receives your order. Payment for order flow happens. Sold as market maker, wholesaler. From there, routing decisions. Smart order router sends to, most of the time, off-exchange venues, internalizers, dark pools, ATSs, or market maker inventory. Probably wondering what market maker inventory is. That's the same thing as you hearing market maker exemption. Execution. Your order filled, but not on the lit exchange. You get the fill, maybe better, maybe worse, you don't know. More than 45 to 50%.
We borrowed him from John, who borrowed him from Bruce, who got him from Dave, who we now owe Dave, who then owes Bruce, who's going to give him back to John. When
they all belong to Syed. But the fact is that more than 45 to 50% of all U.S. equity trading happens off exchange. And in AMC and GME's case, it's often exceeding 70%. Does that show you where the problem is? Sure does for me. And as you can see, I've already gone over the off-exchange trading dominance, which is 73% for AMC and 71.4% for GME. What's interesting in all this is the delayed settlement equals delayed truth, which trades settle in T+1, well, 1 business day. But transparency, FTDs, is T+13 to T+35 on average. 13F filings up to 45 days late, and 10Ks to 10Qs up to 90 days late. And the enforcement actions, months or years later. What? But how about that short interest? Just the tip of the iceberg. What you see is the reported short interest of total synthetic exposure. What you miss and what you're not allowed to see is swaps, option market maker hedging, ETF creation and redemption, securities lending rehypothecation, total return swaps, and internalized inventory. Which brings you to ETF mechanics and equals synthetic exposure amplifiers. So AP creates ETF shares using a basket including AMC and GME. This ETF redemption cycle goes into the market maker's hands. So this would be Citadel or Virtu, which is handling your trade. From there, they hedge exposure through option swaps and futures specifically. And the result of this is multiple layers of exposure without directly share purchases on a lit exchange. And this cycle goes on multiple times. Multiple. What happens from here is your cost of the current system. And this is where the charges for payment for order flow, for the hidden liquidity, for delayed price discovery, and lack of transparency. And that's what you're being charged. I'm going to get to what the data shows for AMC and GME in a second, but when you look up at the top right corner, you see AMC and GME, and here's the estimates of the off-trading volume, the retail orders routed, and the actual retail price impact that both these stocks have had, which is $5.1 billion for AMC and $4.6 billion for GME. You still see the same failure to deliver problems, the SNC enforcement, and now you see what the data shows you about AMC and GME. With 73.1 off exchange, the 1.3 billion retail orders accounted for off exchanges, FTDs, a shit ton, constantly on the reg show threshold list, and one of the most heavier lent retail stocks ever. That's the scary part. GME is the off-exchange trading, which has the most as has ever been in October of 25. The retail orders routed off-exchange, which is a shit ton. FTDs, constantly on Reg Show threshold list, and heavily, I mean, it's just crazy. Heavily exposure to option hedging pressure. Regulators know the problem. They're just too slow or too comfortable. The CAT system, audit trail, years behind. SEC rule reform, years in the making. Swap reporting, still incomplete. Market structure modernization, still not enough. The reality behind the curtain. Banks and prime brokers lend your shares, rehypothecate collateral, profit from your order flow, and hedge their bets. The hedge fund and market makers internalize your orders, use derivatives to hide the exposure, move liquidity where you can't see, and win from retail confusion. The system is designed to confuse, delay, and extract value from the retail investor, period. So, retail is no longer asleep. We read the filings, or well, this ape does. We watch the data. We understand the game. We hold the power. Because transparency isn't a request, it's a requirement. Fair market, real prices, equal access for all. Especially when the public cannot independently verify what is happening in real time. And that is where the frustration really starts boiling over inside AMC and GME communities, because retail investors are not just looking at isolated FTD numbers in a vacuum. They are watching elevated failure to delivers while simultaneously seeing sudden spikes in borrowed shares, persistent off-exchange dominance, fragmented routing systems, unusual short interest behavior, heavy ETF activity, and repeated settlement complexities surrounding heavily debated securities. And again, none of those individual things automatically prove manipulation by themselves, but stacked together, they create a giant flashing neon sign screaming one simple question. How exactly is the public supposed to independently verify market integrity inside a system this complex and this opaque? That is the real issue. Retail investors are being asked to trust a system they cannot see into. Trust settlement processes they can't independently audit. Trust lending mechanisms they cannot monitor. And trust routing systems they do not control. Trust data that often arrives delayed long after market conditions changed. And then when people question it, they are told they simply do not understand how markets work, which is honestly one of the most unintentionally hilarious defense walls Street keeps using, because retail investors started learning exactly how markets work, and that is precisely why trust started collapsing in the first place. Because once ordinary investors began digging into market structure, they discovered the stock market is no longer some simple exchange where buyers and sellers meet in a broad daylight under a warm glow of transparent capitalism. Modern markets resemble a fragmented maze of wholesalers, dark pools, internalizers, derivative exposure systems, ETF mechanics, rehypothecation chains, algorithmic execution engines, and institutional inventory networks operating largely beyond public visibility. And when public visibility disappears, suspicion naturally grows in the empty space left behind it. Especially when enforcement history does not exactly inspire confidence. Major financial institutions have already paid billions in cumulative fines tied to market transparency failures, dark pool disclosures, misleading execution practices, spoofing, and other regulatory violations over the years. Those are not internet conspiracy theories. Those are documented enforcement actions. Retail investors see that history and naturally wonder whether existing transparency systems are truly capable of identifying modern settlement problems before damage occurs, rather than years after inside another settlement agreement where everybody writes a check, nobody admits wrongdoing, and executives somehow still collect bonuses large enough to buy small islands. That perception problem matters because financial systems survive on confidence. Once confidence starts cracking, everything underneath it becomes harder to trust. And that is exactly why delayed FTD reporting became such a central issue within AMC and GME communities. Not because every failed to deliver automatically proved synthetic shares are flooding the market, not because every short seller is operating illegally, but because delayed visibility inside a market operating at machine speed creates the feeling that ordinary investors are trying to monitor a Formula One race using security camera footage uploaded 3 months after the season ended.
I want to add too.
Go ahead.
The evidence to me is in the economic cause and effect cost to retail as a whole.
Of course.
And no amount of losses in this market is going to be realized by me, because I'll fucking eat it for however long I have to eat it to fix the broken system, because the cost to me economically in real world expenses and devaluation and jobs and real wage growth versus the economic effect of this lack of transparency and this PFOF synthetic
bullshit maker
delivery bullshit system, that cost is far more excessive and far more reaching than anything that they can do to me in this actual market finance system.
Absolutely. It's where at some point people stop asking, why are retail investors suspicious? And start asking the far more uncomfortable question, why should retail investors automatically trust a system they are structurally incapable of independently verifying in real time? That question eventually leads directly into another major transparency problem. Sitting right beside delayed settlement reporting, opaque securities lending, and the mysterious appearance of massive borrowable share inventory in stocks retail investors were repeatedly told had limited supply in the first place. Oh, look, 10 million shares just fell out of the ceiling. Opaque securities lending borrowing spikes. A Wall Street infinite share glitch? Where did they even come from? Whew. Market efficiency, maybe. Nothing to see here, folks. It's the infinite share supply box. Not a bug, but a feature. Nothing sends retail investors into immediate what the actual fuck is happening mode faster than watching millions of borrowable shares suddenly appear in a stock everybody was repeatedly told had constrained supply. One day, borrow availability looked drier than a Nevada parking lot in August. Utilization is high, cost to borrow is climbing, and retail sentiment is screaming that supply is tightening. Then suddenly, magically, a hidden inventory closet underneath the DTCC next to the Ark of the Covenant, a stack of bailout paperwork from 2008, and apparently every missing share Wall Street swore was already accounted for. Naturally, people started asking the question, not irrational questions, not the market is controlled by underground lizards, people using quantum hedged funds questions, basic questions. Questions like, where did those shares come from? How many times can the same share be lent out? How does reported float interact with derivatives and securities lending systems? What exactly is the public seeing versus what institutions can internally move around behind the scenes? And this is where the average retail investor collides headfirst with one of the least transparent systems in modern finance, securities lending. Now, to be fair, because unlike certain financial commentators who act like real retail investors, asking questions automatically means civilization is collapsing. There are legitimate mechanisms that can increase borrow availability. Institutional holders lend shares. ETF rebalance inventory. Prime brokers move exposure internally between clients. Custodians relocate positions. Options market makers hedge risk dynamically. And securities lending desk updates inventory throughout the trading day. Derivatives reshape exposure behind the scenes. None of that automatically proves fraud, naked shorting, or criminal manipulation. But here is the problem. Retail investors are expected to blindly trust the system they cannot independently verify, and that is the issue. Because most ordinary investors have almost zero visibility into how modern securities lending infrastructures actually function behind institutional walls. And honestly, Wall Street seems perfectly happy keeping it that way, because once you start peeling back the layers of modern lending mechanics, the stock market begins looking less like a transparent exchange and more like a financial version of three-card Monte played by supercomputers operating at algorithmic speeds. Most people still imagine the market functioning on a simpler mechanic. One investor owns one share. Another investor borrows that share. Simple. Except modern markets stop being simple somewhere around the exact moment financial engineers realized they could transform the global economy into a derivatives-powered Jenga tower wrapped in leverage, glued together with rehypothecation, and legally protected by disclosure documents nobody reads because they are roughly the length of the Old Testament. Today, a single share can move through multiple layers of institutional systems. Shares can be lent, relent, hedged, internalized, packaged into ETFs, referenced through swaps, used as collateral, or tied to derivative exposure chains in ways that the average retail investor cannot independently track in real time. Hence, oh look, 10 million shares just fell out of the ceiling. And here's how your opaque securities lending, borrowing spikes, and Wall Street's infinite share glitch and the share inventory explosion. Borrow availability versus public visibility. The retail perception: shares are hard to borrow. This is your cost to borrow spikes, your utilization highs, and the supply appears constrained. On this chart, what you're going to see is shares available, which is 15 million, 10 million, 5 million. Below are the dates from October of 13, October 14, 15, interday, and Friday. So here you are during October of 25, because this is the most recent and the most egregious that they've ever gotten, excuse me. So AMC share availability: Monday 10/13, 150K. Tuesday 320K. Wednesday 280K. Thursday, 10/16, before the spike, 410. The 16th, after spike, 10,200,000. Or I'm sorry, 16,200,000. Friday, 6,700,000. You can see the same pattern from GME. 200K, 450K, 350K, 600K, 15.3 million. 12.4 million on that Friday. The cost to borrow average 280%, 315%, 410%, 923%. Thursday, 94%. Friday, 105. What? GME, same. 250%, 300%, 380%, 785%. Down to 88%. What? So, with AMC, here's what happened. 73.1% of all trades during that period of time, during this spike, went off exchange, on average. This is where 1.3 billion of retail orders were off exchanged, and that's the estimate. And your cost was 5.1 billion. The FTD cumulative reported from 23 to October of 25 is 1.2 billion shares. Yes, I said billion. And specifically for Pip and Sammy, this is why I tell you that there's a trillion fucking shares out there.
One other aspect, and I'm going to ask first.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know, because of, what is it called? Market Watch or whatever reports versus the FINRA reports matching on their FTD data and their daily short interest data, right? And the fact that Market Exchange discloses that their numbers do not include SIBA.
No.
So when they're saying 77% and FINRA's numbers the same, I can conclude that FINRA's also not equating SIBO exchanges.
Correct.
And there's like 4 or 5 different SIBO exchanges.
Five
that are not even included in them off exchange.
Correct.
ATS trading.
They're their own internalizers. So that's why you see these huge numbers when it comes to the actual SIBO and the cost of borrow.
Can you guys hear me even though I'm muted?
No.
Not until
Okay,
now.
good.
Not until
No,
now.
I just wanted to make sure because of what happened last time. Roland was yelling from the bathroom, and I just wanted to check.
No, you're good.
That's the most inappropriate thing you'll ever hear when I don't realize I'm not on mute.
That's perfect. That's okay, but you're good. So this is why you see these huge spikes when it comes to the actual cost to borrow. And the same thing with why all of a sudden it just rockets down. So you're up.
Well, I want to add one other aspect to that.
Go ahead.
Now, some of that's reflected by the transparent data that we do get and the attributed cost or cause and effect of the share issuances. Now, while that holds true to the transparent data, you're not seeing the internalization, rehypothecation, ATS, dark pool volume against
Still going to get to that when we get to the rehypothecation, James. Don't steal the thunder out of that one yet.
Well, let me make one more point, and it's not going to cross into that.
Yeah.
But when the float goes up, it doesn't mean less volume is shorted because the short interest goes down. The short interest is going down because it's a bigger pie.
Correct.
But the volume has actually gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Which means, and until they, let alone close the transparent volume, albeit delayed, right?
They still have to level it out.
They still have all that fucking ATS, swap, total return, ape, perpetual,
which they haven't
placed exposure tied to that they'd still have to unwind,
and they still have to market all of that.
And I haven't seen them unwind more than 5 to 10% of the volume at any time. And every time they go right back, short it back up again to them numbers. And usually that's when we see the 100, 150, 200% price spikes intraday that disappear and get shorted right back down the next day.
The biggest problem right now with all of it, and this is really what happens, is because they're not marketing to market all this stuff, and because they're not marketing to market it, the minute that they start letting this thing actually go, that's why they can't let it run. Because they will never, ever, ever be able to short it back down the way they've been doing it right now.
And it will cause a total unwind of the indexes that are tied to this.
Correct. Every single one. And all your ETFs. Because they literally had to, if you can imagine, here's your kids. You know when your kids are sitting there and they're young and they're trying to clean up their room, and instead of actually cleaning it, like putting stuff away, like where it goes, they stuff it into every nook and cranny that they possibly can, and they say, see, I cleaned. It's exactly that. They didn't clean anything. They found, what they did find was about $25 worth in change in your couch. And they just keep on reusing it and reusing it.
Cat was basically the equivalent of looking digitally into the closet without opening the door and then telling them, don't open that door.
Correct. So what happens is that this is where shares come from. So like I was saying with your kids that are cleaning up and not putting it into their actual buckets, instead they go into institutional lending, market maker hedging, derivative exposure management, securities lending desks, rehypothecation chains, custodial relocations, prime broker inventory, and ETF rebalancing. None of these automatically prove the illegal activity, but retail cannot independently verify these full chains in real time. And the visibility is the biggest problem, because what you see is borrow rate, reported share availability, utilization, delayed short interest reporting, and public, I can't read that for some odd reason. For some odd reason, it's blurred on my screen, which it shouldn't be. And the public sightings, which are also delayed. What you can't see is the internalized inventory movement, the rehypothecation chains, the swap exposure, prime market netting, ETF collateral usage, the derivative, what is that? Derivative liquidity, the institutional modernization or internalization, off exchange matching, and real-time locates. And that's where transparency ends, exactly where complexity begins. And the bigger picture is the global securities lending, the actual market size is $2.7 trillion. And that's reported as of 24. The daily average securities lending revenue, 10 to 15 million. Rehypothecation can create multiple layers of indirect exposure, and retail gets the final number, institutions see the full machine. And that is the problem. It's not just a glitch in the system. It's just how Wall Street works, evidently. And that's what needs to change. All before the average retail investor has never finished refreshing their brokerage app, wondering why the stock price somehow moved in the exact opposite direction of reality again. And this is the point where many ordinary investors suddenly realize modern markets are no longer operating on the simple buyer buys share, seller delivers share, everybody goes home happy system they thought existed. Modern market structure now resembles a giant interconnected maze of leverage, collateral movement, derivative exposure, inventory management, and institutional plumbing complicated enough to make a NASA engineer stare silently at a whiteboard while reconsidering career choices. The complexity matters because the deeper retail investors dig into securities lending infrastructure, the more they realize the phrase available shares is nowhere near as straightforward as Wall Street likes pretending it is. Institutional lending programs allow large holders to lend shares to borrowers. Prime brokers internally manage inventory between clients. ETFs create and redeem baskets tied to underlying securities. Market makers dramatically hedge derivative exposure throughout the trading day. Rehypothecation allows collateral connected to one transaction to support activity elsewhere in the system. And I'm going to read that one again because that is very, 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 very important. Rehypothecation allows collateral connected to one transaction to support activity elsewhere in the system. What rule did we go over that changed? Wink, wink, hint, hint. And that was 3 episodes ago. Swaps and derivatives can create exposure behaving similarly to direct ownership without always appearing clearly in public data sets retail investors can realistically monitor. None of this automatically proves manipulation. None of it automatically proves fraud, but it absolutely creates a system where the average retail investor has almost no visibility into how much effective exposure may exist underneath the surface at any given moment. And honestly, that is where frustration starts mutating into distrust, because retail investors are constantly told markets are transparent while simultaneously discovering that enormous portions of modern market plumbing operate behind institutional walls the public cannot meaningfully audit in real time. The average investor cannot independently verify, and they cannot. How many times shares move through lending chains? How many derivatives impact effective supply? How internal inventory systems function? How ETFs influence exposure? And how institutional positioning shifts during volatility events? So when millions of borrowable shares suddenly appeared during periods of heavy short pressure, elevated utilization, or rising borrowing costs, people naturally begin wondering whether they are observing true supply dynamics or simply watching inventory move through systems the public barely has visibility into. And honestly, that concern is not crazy. Even regulators openly acknowledge modern market structure has become extraordinarily complex. That is exactly why reform involving securities lending transparency, CAT systems, swap reporting, enhanced disclosure requirements, and market surveillance modernization continue to be debated upon. Regulators are not building massive new transparency infrastructures because everything is functioning flawlessly already. They're doing it because markets evolve faster than oversight systems did. That is not conspiracy territory. That is reality. The SEC itself proposed enhanced securities lending disclosures requirements specifically because the current system lacks sufficient public visibility. FINRA and SEC data already show significant portions of equities trading occurs off exchange through wholesalers, ATS venues, and internalized systems. Meanwhile, derivative markets continue expanding in complexity far beyond what the average retail investor can realistically track using public information alone. And that creates a massive perception problem. Because once people realize they cannot independently verify true lending exposure, rehypothecation depth, synthetic positioning, internal inventory movement, ETF-related share creation, or derivative-linked exposure chains, well, truth begins collapsing under the weight of uncertainty. Not because fraud is automatically proven, but because opacity itself becomes corrosive. And that's the wrong chart. We already went over that one. And I moved it to the next one. Imagine sitting down at a poker table where every other player insists the game is perfectly fair while simultaneously refusing to let you see half the deck. Maybe the game is legitimate, maybe not, but confidence evaporates the second participants realize visibility inside the system is uneven. That is exactly how many retail investors now view modern securities lending systems. And honestly, financial history does not exactly calm nerves here. Major institutions have already paid billions in fines tied to the misleading disclosures, transparency failures, spoofing, dark pool violations, and execution-related misconduct over the years. Again, none of that proves AMC or GME are victims of some giant coordinated criminal conspiracy, but it absolutely explains why retail investors stopped accepting trust us and as a substitute for actual transparency, because trust without visibility eventually stops being trust. It becomes faith. And retail investors are increasingly realize modern financial markets demand an enormous amount of faith from the public while revealing surprisingly little about the machinery operating underneath the hood. That realization is exactly why borrow spikes become such a lightning rod inside of AMC and GME communities, not because every single sudden increase in lendable shares automatically prove fake shares flooded the market, but because ordinary investors are watching inventory shifts happen inside systems they cannot independently audit, while simultaneously being told everything is functioning perfectly. Sure. And apparently the Titanic also had a minor water visibility issue. Welcome to the free market. Please take a number. Your order is currently lost in a dark pool. Fragment routing, off-exchange dominance, and why retail investors started looking at Wall Street like a casino with better Wi-Fi. Free market, please take a number. Now serving a lot. And we appreciate your patience. Your order is 69,420. Good luck. 99.7% of retail orders go here to die. Here, where your retail order actually goes. You thought you bought a stock. Wall Street sent it through a financial escape room. Start here. Retail investor, buy AMC, buy GME. You hit buy, the adventure begins. 1, broker receives your order and routes it to find best execution. 2, payment for order flow. Your order is sold to a market maker or wholesaler for payment. You don't see this a dime and not a dime of it. Wholesaler aggregates your order with other retail flow and decides where to send it next. Hence plumbing. oh, wow. It says it goes to smart routing, but what it really went to is an internalizer over here. Market maker examines the order, they can execute it internally instead of sending it out. It could go to 7, which executes against their own inventory or hedges the order using complex strategies. More than likely, it's probably going to go to 5, which is your ATS and dark pool. Order can be routed to an alternative trading system or dark pool where trades are hidden from public view. Then goes into your smart routing engine, which algorithms execute dozens of venues in microseconds to find the best place to send it. Well, it's not going to go here to your final destination, even because the plumbing is blank. So it's probably going to go either to the off-exchange venue, which is trades may occur off exchange, invisible to the public order hooks or order books and retail investors. So then here's 9, which is your lit exchange. Maybe, maybe not. Some orders finally reach lit exchange. Maybe. The DTCC settlement. Trade is cleared, netted, and settled. You get a position, but you never saw the journey it took to get here.
Can I add one more box into that last green arrow that you...
Right here, the final destination?
No, the one before that. The one
lit
above
exchange?
That. Yeah, the lit exchange. There could be another box in there that is offshore, out of reporting purview.
So that's where your off exchange and your GameStop go to. To the far right. So why so many stops? Because the payment for order flow creates profit for intermediaries. Dark pools hide order flow and reduce market transparency. The internalizers let market makers control the retail flow. The algorithms optimize for speed and profit, not price discovery. Fragmentation weakens public price discovery, and the retail is the product, not the priority. Which brings you to the next set of problems, which is AMC and AMC and GME and what happens to your individual trades. And that's 70% off exchange volume during multiple periods. It's elevated ATS activity across trading sessions, the high retail participation driving massive order flow, and repeated dark pool dominance across volatility events. So every time volatility spike happens, that's where it's going. It's automatically going to a dark pool. Matt, turn off your mic. So GameStop, kind of different. Sustained off-exchange routing dominance for extended periods. It's elevated retail order flow compared to peer group. And then repeated volatility halts due to extreme swings and heightened market structure scrutiny since January of 21. The price discovery can't be transparent if most retail orders never reach the public market, because 70% of those don't on average. And that's the biggest problem. Which brings us to the next part, which is your off exchange versus lit exchange activity. So the off exchange activity, the dark pools and the ATS is where retail orders disappear. And that's hidden from public view, orders executed away from the public order books. The price impact negated, large orders can be executed without moving the price. Less transparency, no pre-trade visibility, limited post-trade reporting, and fragmented and complex, hundreds of venues, multiple internalizers that are in this off-exchange venue. when you break it all down, so the total off exchange. So this is as of everybody that's a retail investor. So the dark pool is 45%. Your ATS platforms are 15.3%. And then your internalization is 9.5, which brings your total off exchange to 69.8. Now let's break down AMC. 73.1% of AMC trading volume is executed off exchanges. Your dark pools are 48.7%. Your ATS platforms are 15.9%, and your internalization is 8.5.
And remember, that's the reported numbers, not counting SEBA.
Correct. Or your share lending, or your cost to borrow, or any of that information.
Total return swaps, special
Yeah.
purpose finance vehicles.
I hope you see it.
ETFs.
Now, I keep on saying that none of this proves it, but there's a reason why I'm saying that, because when you factor all this together, you start to see a very, very, very clear picture and why I say the things that I say. Haven't you noticed that, Matt?
Yep.
Yeah. Here's the lit exchange activity. And then I'm going to get into the middle, because that's how you have to actually do this. So your lit exchange background or breakdown. The New York Stock Exchange is about 18.7%. The NASDAQ, 11.5%. So your total lit exchange for every single retail trade is 30.2%. Those are visible order books. Those are price discovery, regulated and oversighted, and public markets. Here's your AMC. It's 26.9% of AMC trading volume executed on a lit exchange. New York Stock Exchange, 16.5%. NASDAQ, 10.4%. Huh? Well, how's it in the NASDAQ? Why is GME in the NASDAQ? I thought they were trading on the New York Stock Exchange.
I want to add too, you can see that ratio metric directly reflected in a lot of the metric tools that measure lit market activity, whether it's buy, sell imbalances, bid to ask, trade matching spreads. I mean, it's right there in all the metrics, the same ratios, which is why you can equate these ladder attacks direct to the routing that you're showing everybody.
That's, you know how I just bitched about Twitter customer service? Hold on. I got
Twitter has customer service?
Yeah, when you have a premium account, like you actually have, like, you're supposed to have your own like little customer service agent. It's funny as hell. They just messaged me. Hi, my name is Kai, and I'm with the premium support team here to assist you. To learn more about what impacts your visibility and engagements on X, please check out this premium fact thing. Besides that, there is no changes to be made to your account to improve visibility or reach. Just post what you are up to, building, working on, love to do, be yourself, others will find you. That's what the algorithm is for. That's the response? Hold on. What the fuck is that?
Are you getting your money's worth?
I mean, blatantly, to hear what I said, that is the funniest part, because I literally told them, I mean, and I get messages all the time from people that say, hey, when are you doing a show? Like, I haven't seen any of your ads. I even have people that are literally tweeting me saying, hey, I tweeted you this day, but you didn't get this. Or, hey, you're probably being suppressed right now because I don't see anything going out. I'm like, I said we were doing a space call. Like, what the fuck?
But yet somehow
the algorithm changed.
And somehow all the wrong people are seeing the information and then reposting it as their own.
Yeah, correct. So the retail order journey. Retail investor place order. Retail broker, PFOF model, order payment for order flow, wholesale market maker or internalizer routes to the best venue for them, not you. So 69.8% of off-exchange dark pool plus ATSs, and for lit exchange, New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, 30.2. Yeah. So, by the numbers of the equity market, 50% of all equity volume happens off exchange. 69.8% of retail orders go to off exchange or dark pools, and that's off of FINRA. Funny when? October of 25. What a shock. 3 out of 4 retail orders are internalized, not sent to lit exchanges, and that's as of your own SEC market data. 7 out of 10 days delayed in public reporting for many off-exchange trades or delays. Institutional trading volume happens off exchange or through internalizers. Through ICE, September 2025, $10.4 trillion. The impact on retail investors: pre-trade visibility, none. Price discovery, poor, non-consistent. Order execution, hidden, opaque. Market impact, hidden. Regulatory oversight, limited. Post-trade reporting, delayed 7 to 10 days. Best interest alignment, broker, market maker. If it's going to a lit exchange, guess what? You get a full, strong, transparent, visible, strict, real-time investor. So where do the retail orders go? 45% in dark pools, 15.3% in ATS platforms. This internalizers, it says a sliver, which is a brokerage, but the New York Stock Exchange, 11.5%, and the NASDAQ, barely anything. Sample of off-exchange venues, not executed. So Citadel, Securities, Jane Street, 2 Sigma, was that GI's execution services, and Virtu Financial. ATS platforms: InsistNet, Post-it Alert, LiquidNet, Pipeline, and ITG. Internalizer market makers: Virtu, Robinhood, Citadel Securities, Wolverine, and IMC Trading. The consequences of the off-exchange dominance: retail is blinded. You can't see the full picture. Your trade in the dark. Price discovery is distorted. Prices don't reflect supply and demand. They reflect it's combative. In unfair advantages to institutions. They see the order flow, they front run, retail gets worse prices. Your market integrity is at risk. It's hidden trading creates systemic risks, and retail pays the price because you get the worst price, you get no filing, you get no understanding of where your order goes. Hence, why you see the numbers for AMC and GME, respectively, and why the off-trading volume occurs. Because AMC's true number is 73.1%, GME 71.4, Lit Exchange 26.9, and GME 28.6. And that's your problem. Wow, this really screwed up my whole thing. That's awesome. I don't know why this happened. Somebody screwed up or somebody's screwing with my system, which that shouldn't happen whatsoever. And we're going to go and take a look at that real quick. Yeah, somebody broke into my thing. Wow. That shouldn't happen. Good thing I got a backup. We're going to go into the rehypothecation chains because that's the most important thing, and that's something that I can go over without the actual writing as well. And then I'm going to have to repost the rest of this, so this way you guys can see what's going on. Here is your rehypothecation loop. One share, multiple claims. Welcome to modern finance. One share can be lent, used as collateral, and re-lent repeatedly across the financial system. Start here. Retail investor, you buy one share of AMC and GME and hold it in your brokerage account. Your share goes to prime broker. Prime broker, your broker lends you a share to a prime broker. The share is now used as collateral for a loan. That hedge fund borrows your share to short it, sell it. So hence why Citadel has one share for the market maker. And then here's that lendable share that goes right into their hedge fund. So this way they can front run your trade. So the hedge fund borrows the share to short sell it. The short sale creates selling pressure in the market. Then it goes into an ETF or index fund if it's going to go there. More than likely, that's probably where it's going because that way it doesn't affect what you see publicly. The hedge fund uses the proceeds of the share as part of an ETF creation redemption basket. The share becomes part of a larger ETF structure. Then it goes into a derivatives desk. The ETF or hedge fund enters into a swap or derivative. The share or exposure is used as collateral in this derivative. Goes into a lending desk. The derivative desk posts the share as collateral and lends it out again. Same share, new borrower. The other borrower. Another institution borrows the share to short, hedge, or settle. The cycle continues. Then collateral systems. The share is used as collateral once again somewhere else in the system. It secures another loan or obligation to another equity. And then the rehypothecation repeats and repeats. And at any moment, multiple parties have a financial claim to the same single share. If one link breaks, the whole chain will collapse. Hence, why you see halts, multiple halts. And what they tell you at this point is that this is for your protection, which it's not. It's not even close. Matt, you still there?
Yep, I'm still here.
Dude, I find this really crazy that because I sent you this, you read the entire thing, and you know it wasn't fucked up.
No, I know. It was all right there in legible order.
Like, that is fucking beyond me.
But it's like it all got condensed into one
somebody literally had to have gone on to my thing and had to have changed it. Someone had to have, because there's no way. I have this thing saved.
You got basket swapped.
Yeah, I probably did. That's not surprising. And at the same time, I'm trying to find because I write all this shit originally on a Microsoft Word file and then transfer it over. So that's the crazy part about this.
You know what I'm sitting here thinking in my head, listening to that rehypothecation process, which just my brain went to, the cat has 9 lives, but each of them lives has a death exemption.
Yeah, it does.
So the cat's got like 9 rehypothecated deaths for every one of its 9 lives.
Correct. But that's a perfect analogy for this, because if one of these lines break in this, then this whole thing collapses. It's dead. And they have to flood the market with imbalances, which it would destroy the market, because your one share for AMC and GME is not just for AMC and GME. It's also used for other equities.
If you use the 9 deaths per each 9 lives, the market's currently sitting, that would be 81 lives, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
The market's sitting at what, 79, 80 of them deaths now?
Yeah, right now.
And one more death means that the discovery of all
everything is screwed
from the cat's birth has to unwind.
Yeah. So what is rehypothecation? It is the practice of reusing collateral like your share to secure another loan or obligation. The same share can support multiple financial activities at the same time, creating multiple claims to a single asset. You think you own it. The system thinks it's collateral, which here is why it's a problem, because the cost to borrow spikes above 900%, utilization near or at 100%, 70% off exchange volume during multiple periods, appears repeatedly on FTD threshold lists, massive retail ownership acknowledged by the CEO himself. Quoted, GameStop, short interest, 100% of the float early 21, sustained high borrowing costs and utilization, repeated volatility halts and extreme swings, how ETF exposure and option activities are heavy. Retail holds the majority of the float. The impact, artificial supply increases, price discovery gets distorted, shorts can create downward pressure without new shares. Retail sees one share, the system sees infinite uses. Retail sees one share, the system sees infinite uses. And the cycle never ends. Which brings you to your synthetic exposure machine. And this is a huge problem. Huge. Welcome to Wall Street's financial multiverse. One stock, infinite ways to create exposure. Synthetic exposure to a stock that is created through derivatives, lending ETFs, swaps, and other financial instruments without always owning the actual share. Real impact, hidden complexity. The lending loop. Institution, prime broker, hedge fund, market maker, relent. Institution, prime broker, hedge fund, market maker, relent. And then another borrower. So that cycle is going to happen probably 3 to 5 times before another borrower takes it. The ETF basket, AMC GME included in dozens of ETFs. Creation redemption processes move shares in and out of the system. 2. Total return swaps create synthetic ownership and hide true exposure off balance sheets. The option chain, calls, puts, leaps, and weeklies create massive derivative exposure and gamma hedging pressure. Derivatives, future forward contracts for difference and other derivatives multiply exposure without share ownership. This brings you to your exposure multipliers, which is your ETF baskets, your options and derivatives, swaps, futures, lending chains, internalization, and that equals synthetic exposure. Why it matters. This creates the illusion of supply, obscures true short interest, amplifies volatility, undermines price discovery. Retail sees the tip of the iceberg. This leads to your prime brokers. Your prime brokers net exposure across clients' risk and manage behind the curtain. So this is your banks, which are supposed to protect you, if you remember. That's why you trust your bank, and that's why your money goes in that bank. Market makers hedge exposure dynamically using shares, options, ETFs, futures, and swaps. Don't you find it interesting, Matt, that all of a sudden Citadel is now able to go ahead and actually settle their options?
They ain't settling shit.
Oh, thanks.
Like kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And I can walk on water. Internalization. Retail orders internalized by brokers, market makers. Buys don't hit lit exchange. Period. Securities lending. Hedge funds and institutions borrow shares to short, create demand for, locates, and borrows. The lending chains. Shares are lent out, relent, and passed through multiple institutions. And finally, 10 is your rehypothecation. Your shares as collateral can be reused, repledged, and relent in endless loops. AMC by the numbers. 70% off exchange volume during multiple periods, elevated option volume and gamma exposure, utilization near 100% in multiple windows, repeated failure to deliver spikes, massive retail ownership acknowledged by the CEO. GME by the numbers, short interest, 100% of the float, January of 21, sustained off-exchange routing dominance, historic gamma squeeze conditions, repeated volatility halts, ETF baskets, and swap exposure involvement. Welcome to the financial multiverse, where one share can be claimed, lent, hedged, traded, derived, and reused more times than you can count. Retail sees the price. Institutions navigate the machine. And finally, this leads to the visibility gap. Retail gets the receipt. Institutions see the entire machine. You versus them. Retail visibility. What retail investors can see. Delayed FTDs, SEC and FINRA reports, delayed anywhere between T13 to T35. Delayed short interest. That's through the exchange and FINRA data. Published 2 times a month. Delayed. Cost to borrow rate. Third-party sources, delayed. Self-reported data. Utilization, lending platforms, delayed. Estimated figures. Quarterly filings, 10K, 10Q, 8Ks. Past tense information. Public charts and price. Delays data feeds. 15 minutes to 24 hours. Delayed, limited, incomplete. You get the receipt, not the reason. You see the end of the movie, not what happens behind the scenes. which is why you don't see shit. They get to see different information, different advantage, different outcome. In the markets, information is power. The more you see, the more you win. Hence why institutions get to see swaps, total return swaps, notional value, counterparties, mark-to-market exposure, internalized inventory and positions, real-time, long, short, gross and net, delta, gamma, vega, securities, lending chains, lent out, relent, collateral, margin status, beneficial ownership, routing and flow analytics, order flow, venue breakdown, PFOF data, and execution quality, collateral movement, real-time collateral value haircuts, and margin calls, AI systems and predictive models, algo signals, sentiment, news, NLP, price impact, liquidity forecasting, derivative exposure, who's exposed to options, futures, forwards, exotics, structured products, prime broker data, multi-asset positions, risk engine, leveraged, stress test, and financing. They see the whole machine. More data, real time, more context, more power, more advantage. The market is public. The information isn't. Transparency isn't about published data. It's about publishing the right data at the right time. Not a level playing field. It's a structured advantage. And hence the problem with the entire system itself. And hence why my direction in all this is teaching you all the stuff they don't want you to teach. They don't want you to learn it. They don't want you to understand it. They don't want it broken down for you. Because if you have their advantage, you level the playing field. You know where to put your money. You know where you can exercise your trades and how you can get in and out at the right time, because you'll know what to look at. That's probably why they fucked around with my thing. I can guarantee that. Somebody did. Somebody had to have. And that really pisses me off, but that's fine. You know what? I'm going to post this everywhere just because you wanted me to do this. Now I'm going to post this thing fucking everywhere just in spite of what you did, whoever did this. And now I'm going to make sure I add to it. I am your worst enemy. I am your nightmare. I am that person that goes in the system, and guess what? And I'm fuck with your dreams. I promise you that now. Because this is a war we are not going to lose. I can promise you that. Joker Ape is going to say this best right now. He's going to. Matt, as always, thank you, my friend. Chaotic as well. I know you had to take care of little man. But
before you play that,
mm-hmm.
Did you want to? Is she still around? Is she available?
I have no idea. Probably with Will Man.
Basically, 10:30. Give her see if she replies. Not a minute, but literally, but chaos.
Yeah, she's putting little man to bed.
Yeah, I figured maybe, but I just wanted to add that because I know what her dum of the week was,
and
I wanted to see if we could give her a chance because I know that she really wanted to get into that.
That's okay.
I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you it was eBay's board, their CEO, and the statement that they put out on GameStop offer, which was another excellent choice.
Oh, we'll give her the platform next week next time to go ahead and do that one. But Joker Ape is going to explain what I think. This one. And its original form. His original form. Joker Ape. From the beginning.
In the shadows of your journey, you've fought battles that no one else can see. Every scar, a testament to your resilience. Every setback, a whisper of your unyielding spirit. The darkness has tried to swallow you, yet here you stand, a beacon of tenacity in a world that seeks to break you. Remember the nights drenched in despair, the moments when surrender seemed like a sweet release. Recall the ghosts of doubt that haunted your every step, and the chains of fear that bound your soul. Yet, against all odds, you've clawed your way through the abyss, each victory a shard of light piercing the void. You've come too far to quit now. Abandonment now would mean all those battles fought in vain, every drop of blood, sweat, and tear rendered meaningless. The darkness will always lurk, waiting to reclaim you, but you are forged in the fires of perseverance. Your journey is etched with pain, but also with the promise of triumph. Let the world tremble at your resolve. Let your enemies know that you are relentless, unbreakable. Quitting is not an option, for you are a warrior of the night, and you have conquered too much to be undone by the shadows. Rise and let your scars sing songs of your indomitable spirit. You are a force of nature, and you will not falter now. Embrace the darkness, for it has made you who you are, and march forward with the fury of 1,000 storms. You are unstoppable, and your destiny awaits. The road ahead is still paved with uncertainty, each step a gamble with fate. Yet within you burns a fire that the darkness cannot extinguish. You've survived the tempests, endured the relentless onslaughts, and emerged from the ruins, time and time again. The echoes of your struggle are not in vain. They are the symphony of your survival. As you stand on the precipice of your next challenge, feel the weight of your journey anchor you. Every hardship has been a chisel, carving you into a monument of resilience. The pain that once sought to break you has instead become your armor, each scar a mark of your indomitable will. Let the darkness know that it holds no dominion over you. You've stared into the void and seen the reflection of your own strength staring back. The demons that once whispered defeat now cower before your resolve. You are not just a survivor, you are a conqueror of the shadows. In this moment of reckoning, summon the fury that has driven you this far. Let your heart thunder with the rage of every challenge overcome, every fear vanquished. You are the storm that the night feared would come, an unstoppable force that refuses to be tamed. Quitting now would betray everything you've endured, every victory hard won. The darkness seeks to reclaim you, to pull you back into its cold embrace. But you have become its master. Each step forward is a declaration of defiance, a testament to your unwavering spirit. Rise once more, warrior of the night. Let the world see that you are not merely surviving, but thriving amidst the chaos. Your journey is far from over, and your story is still being written. Embrace the darkness, for it has shaped you, but know that it will never own you. You are a beacon in the night, a relentless force of nature. Press on, for the dawn is near, and your destiny is within reach. You are unstoppable, and you will not quit now. Feel the power that courses through your veins, a testament to every battle fought and every wound healed. The darkness may loom, but it has not and will not consume you. You are a warrior, forged in the crucible of adversity, and and your strength is a force the shadows cannot fathom. The path ahead is treacherous, littered with the remnants of those who surrendered. But you are different. You are the one who rises when others fall, who pushes forward when others retreat. Each challenge is a call to arms, a chance to prove that your spirit cannot be broken. In the silence of the night, when the world is asleep, your resolve awakens. It is in these moments of solitude that your true strength is revealed. You have faced the abyss and found your way back, guided by the unyielding light of your determination. Quitting would mean betraying the warrior within, the one who has faced insurmountable odds and emerged victorious. The journey has been long, the battles fierce, but every step has brought you closer to your destiny. You are not here by chance. You are here because you fought for it, bled for it, and refused to let the darkness win. Let your heart beat with the fury of 1,000 storms, a reminder that you are alive, that you are here, and that you are unstoppable. The night may be long, but the dawn is inevitable, and you are the harbinger of that new day. Every breath you take is a testament to your resilience, every step a defiance of the shadows that seek to claim you. Rise, warrior, and let your spirit roar with the power of all you have overcome. The darkness has shaped you, but it does not define you. You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. Your journey is a testament to the power of the human spirit, a beacon for all who wander in the dark. You are a force of nature, an unstoppable tide. Quitting now would be an affront to all that you have endured, a betrayal of the strength that has carried you this far. Stand tall, embrace the darkness, and let it fuel your relentless pursuit of greatness.
Fuck what they told us. Fuck every lie. Tried to kill the movement, but the apes still alive. Diamond hands up, middle fingers in the sky. AMC forever, watch the underdogs rise. We fight, we win. Joker ape in this bitch. Let the war begin. I'm an ape motherfucker and I came from the other side. Seen corruption up close, watch the devils all hide. Now I'm on a mission just to pull back the curtain, expose every dirty move and make the victory certain. This community different, this shit deeper than stocks. Built the family from pain while they laugh from the top. Now they terrified, we united and we learned the game. Cause the apes got stronger every time they threw flames. I bend over backwards for the people that hold. Loyalty rare in a world so cold. And I protect this family with everything I got. Cause real apes stand together whether rich or not. Media puppets spread fear, try to poison the crowd. But the ape family still screaming loud and proud. 6 years in the war, and we still right here. Still buying, still holding, still killing they feel. Fuck what they told us. Fuck what they told us. Fuck every lie. Fuck every lie. Try to kill the movement, but the ape's still alive. But the ape's still alive. Diamond hands up. Diamond hands. Middle fingers in the sky. Middle fingers in the sky. AMC forever. Watch the underdog rise. They wanted division. They wanted us weak. But the strongest motherfuckers never break in defeat. Every ape in this movement got scars from the fight, but we still swing back every damn night. This ain't just money, this a movement for truth. For the workers getting crushed while the billionaires loot. So I spit for the underdogs, the broken, the lost. Every ape still standing no matter the cost. I seen people lose hope, lose homes, lose faith. Still they came back swinging with rage in they face. Cause the ape family built something money can't buy. Brotherhood that survives while the system all lies. And they hate that shit cause they can't control souls. Can't break diamond hands, can't shake what we know. I learned what's behind the curtain, seen how they play. Dark pools, fake narratives, manipulation every day. Now I teach the community everything that I know. Cause knowledge is power and and I'll fight for this movement till my body unravel. Cause I know what we build and I know what it means. A family brought together through impossible dreams. Pull back the curtain, expose every lie. Real apes don't quit, real apes survive. One family, one mission, one goal till victory finally. I remember every headline saying AMC dead. Every paid motherfucker pushing fear instead. Telling retail investors that we all should quit. But the Ape family looked back and said, suck my dick, cause we still buying. Still holding the line, still exposing corruption. One post at a time, and every attack only made us evolve. Now the whole damn movement became impossible to solve. See, I don't rap for fame, I rap for the apes. For the people still fighting while they stack up the hate. For the single mom stressed while they work every shift. For the workers feeling trapped, hoping life finally shift. This movement gave people hope in the middle of pain. Gave broken souls purpose when they felt drained. That's why I protect it with everything in me. Cause real loyalty nowadays hard to see. And if they ever come against the family again, then we rise together every ape to the end. Cause the movement ain't dying long as one ape breathe. And the system gon' feel what they never believe. Yeah, I'm Joker, hey, still standing tall for the ape family. I risk it all. AMC forever, stamped across my soul. And real apes never break, we just take control. We fight, we fight, we win. Apes together strong to the very end. Yeah, Ape Cage in this motherfucker. Candy paint dripping, bass hitting like a fist fight. Boom, 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 boom. Little mama wanna ride with a thug tonight. Hop in the Chevy, let the bass line fight. Ride with me. Window down while we blow that smoke. Ass poking out while she ride real slow. Yeah. Little mama wanna slide through the city with me. Bad little bitch wanna get lit with me. Come on. You said you like southern motherfuckers. Prove that shit, cause tonight we outside on some fool ass shit. Look, can it paint wet like the beach just cried? 24 spin while the trunk outside. Bass hit hard, made the stop sign shake. Whole block know when the squad gon' skid. I got a thick little red bone holding my cuff. Talking about she tryna leave a man fucked up. I said shit, that ain't my business though. Pass her the blunt, now she rolling slow. Cold in my mouth when I grin too hard. Valet nervous when I bought that car. Middle of the summer with the top lean back. Whole club smell like loud and yak. Little mama bad with her jeans too tight. Talk slick and I'ma beat that up tonight. She said damn, you reckless as fuck. I said baby, that's why you stuck. Whole lot of ass in the parking lot. Whole lot of bass made the call out now. Whole lot of broke boys mad outside cause that girl tryna slide in the passenger. I'ma wanna ride with a thug tonight. Hop in the Chevy, hit the baseline fight. Ride with me. Windows down while we blow that smoke. Ass poking out while she ride real slow. Yeah. Little mama wanna slide through the city with me. Bad little bitch wanna get lit with me. Come on. You said you like southern motherfuckers. Prove that shit, cause tonight we outside on some fool ass shit. Big body Chevy with the suede inside. Rim so clean, make a man look fried. I got Henny in my cup and smoke in the air. Two bad bitches pulling all on my hair. Baseline nasty like the trunk got angle. Parking lot junk like a damn gang banger. I ain't tryna cuddle, I'm tryna vibe. Hit the room later if the move feel right. She like damn, why your voice so calm? Cause I done seen too much to panic mom. Whole squad outside looking dangerous. Girls go crazy when the chain swings stainless. You can bring your friend and she thick too. Backseat lit like a damn strip room. Neon lights on the chrome all shining. Whole damn block hit a sub start whining. Police ride past but they don't say shit. Cause the whole damn city know the motherfuckers wide. I got one hand gripping wood grain steering. Other hand on the thigh while the baseline tearing. Ride slow, ride slow, bass slow, bass slow, bass slow, bass slow. Ride slow, ride slow, bass slow, bass slow, bass slow, ride slow, ride slow, bass slow, bass slow, bass slow. Little mama climbed in the ceiling back. Perfume mixing with the weed smoke black. Told me she tired of these broke ass clowns. Wanna ride with a boss when the sun go down. I said shit, buckle up then ride. Hit the gas, make the whole damn freeway slide. Trump bang hard like a fight downstairs. Old heads mad but the young hoe stare. She got gloss on the lips, ain't licking in the vein. Tryna grind on me while I switch them lanes. I'm too lit, too gone, too faded. Still got the whole damn parking lot waiting. Club us inside. Cause when we pull up, all the bottles get fly. Little mama fucking with a mean little talk nasty to me.
Welcome to the cage. Round and round we go.
Hope you're not afraid of heights.
This ride never stops!
Enjoy the fall.
Well, that escalated fast. You haven't seen chaos yet.
Aw, don't leave yet. We're just getting started.
That's a wrap. Or is it?